Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing. So, obviously, we have a lot to talk about from this past weekend. Boxing from Kazakhstan, boxing from the UK, boxing from Australia down under, and boxing from the US. So, even though there was no huge historical type of fight or fight card this weekend, we did get a lot of boxing. So, we're going to talk about that, some of the big things that popped up, and some other information that obviously is going to grab people's attention. So let's get back to that after this short message. Welcome back. This video is brought to you by Hogarden, a great white beer out of Denmark. If you've never tried it, give it a shot. So, obviously, today we're going to be talking about boxing. Let's pull it up and start chopping it up. So, this was something I noticed on X, talking about how the potential fight between Canelo and Crawford may possibly be on Netflix. And well, I'm excited to have boxing on DAZN and have all boxing on DAZN. I'd love, obviously, Top Rank and PBC to join as well, so that we'd have one platform to watch all these promoters make fights together. That would be the best thing for the sport of boxing, easily. But for a fight of this magnitude, if you could put it on Netflix, kind of like the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, so that it has so much access to casual sports fans, that's great for the sport of boxing, right? It's obviously fantastic news for Bud Crawford and Canelo. They would get viewed by far more people in this one fight than they have in any other fights of their careers, which obviously is great because it gives people an opportunity to really see boxing at its best. So I hope this happens. Knock on wood. I think it'd be fantastic. Also, I have Netflix, so it's great when I can watch free boxing on Netflix as well. So maybe I'm being a little selfish, but as I say, if I can watch boxing on Netflix, Prime Video, and DAZN, I don't mind. As long as I can watch all the fights on those three networks, I'll be super stoked because I have all three, so I have full access. These are global apps which actually give people from around the world the chance to watch these events. So I would be stoked, excited. Mexican boxing, welcome back. The press conference, Big Baby Miller, going to be funny in an hour. Love it. Big Baby Miller versus, who's he fighting? Wardley, right? Wardley's going to knock his ass out. It's going to be one brutal knockout. Fabio Wardley is going to destroy that fucking guy. Man, but that's a great matchup, right? See, this is another good thing about boxing when you put on these kind of fights. And this one is obviously being pushed by Saudi Arabia, Matchroom, Turkey Al Sheikh. But great matchup. You see Big Baby bounce back, has consistently been getting fights, getting money, getting opportunities to showcase himself, win, lose, or draw. Fabio Wardley has jumped at the opportunity, destroying a guy, caving in his face the last time he fought. So getting him in there with Big Baby, that should be a fucking fun, exciting matchup. Mexican boxing, since Mexican boxing is number one, what do you think about the possibility of Canelo Alvarez fighting Crawford on Netflix? But yeah, great fight and great presser for sure. Well, the good thing about Big Baby Miller, right? He's a loudmouth, so he's always fun to watch. That's for sure. For sure. I think whenever something benefits boxing, it's great, right? That's why I can't even be too upset with the Canelo or Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul, because it just gives boxing such a large access to more potential fans, even though obviously we would prefer to see them against legitimate fighters. But, you know, Jake Paul is the face of American boxing. He can sell it. He's like Jake Blair Cobb. I love them. Good for boxing. Yeah, people with personalities and characters, whether you like them or not, it don't matter, right? You don't have to like them, because in truth, you're just as likely to watch them to get them knocked out as you are to watch them win. So obviously it's good for boxing when you have a guy that has a big mouth and can actually grab the public's attention. and put out clickbait type of statements as well. But let's get through some of this other stuff we've been looking at this weekend in boxing. So Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason did what he had to do. He was in with a good opponent. I saw people criticizing his opponent, but you should remember this was a replacement opponent. His original opponent was Cabrera, the same Cabrera that many people feel beat Cruz, the same Cruz that obviously knocked out Rolly Romero, the same Cruz that lost to Tank Davis in the very competitive fight. So that Cabrera kid, not a hard puncher, but tall, long, obviously good chin, a guy who's been in with good competition, went the distance with Cruz, but got stopped by Zepeda. For a kid like Mason to fight him at this point of his career, that's a fantastic opponent. When I saw that was going to be his next opponent, I thought, damn, top rank. This is a great opponent. I can see the reason for it because he's not that hard of a puncher. So you don't expect Abdullah Mason to get caught by some punch and knocked out, fucking Jaime Munguia. But the kid is a good enough boxer that if Abdullah Mason's not really what people think he is, this kid potentially could beat him. I wouldn't expect it, and nor would most people. But, quality fight for a 20-year-old on his way up. I think that would be a great opponent. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Abdullah Mason for the rest of 2025. He's going to be put in with that kind of level of competition. And when we look at that weight division, I talked about it, I think, in my past video. I just went through some of the potential opponents we easily could see Abdullah Mason fight at 135 pounds. And there's a lot of good opponents, man, right? A lot of good opponents. Where is that? Lightweight. So right now, obviously, when you get outside the top 10 or even in the top 10, you got guys like Sam Noakes, right? Then you get, of course, Yoshino, a guy that Shakur Stevenson destroyed. But for Abdullah Mason, Yoshino's a very good opponent. Obviously works with Top Rank, so it's a very possible fighter. Hadiel Herrera, who currently is ranked at number 13, number 12, one position below Abdullah Mason on BoxRec. Then, of course, you have Luis Alberto Lopez, Mexican kid, Mishiro, up-and-coming young Japanese fighter, Lucas Baddy, my Canadian brethren, who's knocking a motherfucker out. Floyd Schofield is right there as well, right? Tevin Farmer, and then, of course, the Mongolian kid, Erdenbat, right? And that's all in the top 20, right? If he fought anybody in the top 20 at this point, you have to say, phew, good on ya. Underneath of that, you got Andy Cruz, Ricardo Nunez would be a solid opponent, Alan Abel Chavez, Argentinian kid, Baranchek is right there. You move down, you got a guy like Maxie Hughes. Maxie Hughes would be solid. George Cordina, two English fighters, obviously experienced, guys that obviously we expect Abdullah Mason to beat, but veteran fighters, a lot of experience. Even a guy like Josh Padley, who just fought Shakur Stevenson recently as well. So there's a lot of good fighters. Obviously not the kind of guys you expect to beat him, but to give him work, right? Let him consistently continue to move up through the ranks, getting better competition day in, day out. What's up, drunk Irishman? But yeah, I definitely think that if we think about some of the best young fighters in boxing, you're thinking about, obviously, Abdullah Mason and the young English heavyweight. Easily the two best, highest ranked under 25 fighters right now in boxing. Right, one who's going to be a generational talent in the UK, the other one who's going to be a generational talent, obviously, in the US. Both exciting fighters, both with very exciting styles, right? Both with power. The question with Abdullah Mason is, how long is he going to be able to stay at 135 pounds? Because he's a big kid, right? People saying Boots was, basically sort of weight bullying people. They're going to start saying the same thing eventually about him as well. Even though if you can make the weight, you're obviously not weight bullying, but he is going to be obviously the guy who's taller and longer than 99% of the fighters he's in with because he's just a big kid. He could easily move to 140 and he'd be a big kid at 140. With his current frame, he's not off 147, right? I don't know how much weight he puts on between fights, but the kid's not a small fighter. He's easily going to go through 135, 140, 147, probably 154. Maybe, later on in his career, he's only 20. We could see him even at middleweight. So potentially he could try to become a 5-weight world champion if he can cash out on this WBO title with Top Rank once Keyshawn Davis moves up, because that is my prediction. Look for him to move in that direction. The Kid Austin fight is a great fight for sure, but at this point, that's probably a fight they would wait for and potentially do that to win that WBO title once Keyshawn Davis moves up, right? It would be a little premature now to do it, especially with no titles on the line and no real reward. If you're going to fight a kid like Kid Austin, you might as well do that for a vacant title. And that way, it's well worth it. And people are going to be stoked to see it as well. Some other big wins from fighters, up-and-coming fighters this weekend. Obviously, Mexican boxing #1 is going to be stoked because here's two of his brethren that came through. Obviously, Steven, with a very good performance. This kid's very young, too. I think he's 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Looks good, two-handed puncher. I don't think his power is really that great, but he's got a very entertaining style and puts his hands together very well. Obviously, he's been fast-tracked a lot. Steve Navarro, currently, what is he? I think he's only had like 5-6 fights, if I'm not mistaken. Where is that shit? Let's quickly just check this out. Just to clarify, Abdullah Mason. Well, how do they say his name? Some people say like his name weird. I thought it's like Abdul. Oh, there's no A. So Abdul. Oh, okay. So they do pronounce his name right. I'm the one that pronounces his name incorrectly. The kid he fought, Abdullah Mason, this kid's a veteran, man, right? Like somebody's talking, John Boxing was talking about him being a low-level opponent, but a kid with 28 fucking wins, 15 knockouts, 5 losses, 4 by KO, but this is not a bad opponent for a young 20-year-old kid, right, who's obviously moving up. Abdullah Mason, the hype job like Jared. See, don't be like that, boxing, because we can say the same thing about all these Mexican fighters out there as too. Hype jobs, overrated, haven't done anything, don't have nearly, oh, come on. Right now you expose yourself because literally there's nobody in the boxing world that would pick Emiliano Vargas to beat fucking Abdullah Mason. Nobody. Emiliano Vargas gets knocked out inside 4 rounds if he steps in the ring with fucking Abdullah Mason. But it's fair. He doesn't need to step in with Abdullah Mason. He's also a young kid, and he's fighting really low-level competition. How's long going to take before he steps in to fight a kid like this? It's probably going to be another 1.5 years before he even comes close to fighting anyone this way. Better defense, better performance, has a chin. Oh my God, man, you just expose yourself so terribly. It's terrible. Come on, man. Like, really. Why you want to come off looking fucking like the LDBC, the Mexican LDBC? Hello, Ninja. What's up, Sean? Sorry I missed the last few lives. I was celebrating my birthday in Tokyo, Japan. Nice. Beautiful country and different culture from the US. Nice. How long were you in Japan? Too bad you weren't there when they had some fights going on, right? I want to go to Japan, but I want to sort of organize it so that when I go there, I can actually watch like a live event. Because obviously for me, Japan is close, right? It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. A week. Okay. So you just flew from the States, went to Japan for 1 week? Whoa. What's that? Like a 12-hour, 13-hour flight? Are you coming from Cali or where? Yeah, because that's a long flight. You should have like went to Thailand or fucking dropped over to Taiwan, said hello, hung out in Taipei. Taipei is not bad. A lot of shit going on there. It's like the Taiwan version of obviously Tokyo. But yeah, nice. Can we wait till these fighters have a few defeats before we call them hype jobs? Mason hasn't even fought for a belt yet. I know. But see, that's the thing. I know Mexican boxing, number one, is just, he's just trolling, right? Just being a dickhead, because I know he doesn't think that. But the point is, you say those kind of things and you sound just like fucking the LDBC with their stupid bullshit. But here's Steven. Look at this kid. You know, I'm sure Mexican boxing thinks he's the best fighter in the world. 6-0, 5 KOs. Not bad, man. Up and comer. The kid looks pretty good. 21 years old. And who did he fight? A good opponent. 14-1-2, right? Stopped him in the 4th round. Solid performance from him, even though he did look like there's definitely some things he can work on. I was staying in around Osaka and Kobe area. Very beautiful. Osaka, but you didn't go to Kyoto, the traditional town, Kyoto. Also, a fight I didn't get to see this weekend. Did you guys get to see the Troy Tucker fight? Jai Tucker, 14-1-1. He was in with a real good opponent. Got the win against Troy Williamson, which is solid, man. Troy Williamson, you know, a real veteran, right? I knew that was going to be a good fight. I did expect Tucker to win, and he did by decision. But that's quality, man. Quality win. And when you look at some of the kids this guy fought, right, it just shows you right there. The tough kid from Ireland, Colm, Josh Kelly, right? So he's been in with all the young up-and-coming fighters and ended up losing to them, but tough competition, right? I never understand why people say Top Rank does a bad job developing and building up their young fighters, because they do the opposite. They bring guys up great. And then we speak about Lindolf Delgado. Hey, Mexican number one. What are you going to say about this fight? Delgado got the victory, but what a fucking robbery. Elvis Rodriguez won that fight clearly. Clearly won that fight. Should have had a 10-8 round in that one round. I thought it was unfair, but that is boxing, right? Close events. Obviously, Linfield Delgado, the Mexican Olympian, was the A side in this fight card, so he did get the nod, but he's very slow, very robotic. His shots are real wide, so he's very open for counters. I don't think he really has much of an upside, right? Not really. And I think that's why they've moved him so slowly, right? To be fair, because he got signed like fucking years ago. And the kid, now he's fighting Elvis Rodriguez, right? Now he's fighting Elvis Rodriguez. But, yeah. Even though he was headlining this card, 23-0, 16 KOs, right? Not bad power, but the guy's 30 years old, man, right? And still hasn't even really fought a legitimate top 10 opponent. Hasn't fought a top 10 opponent, yet the guy's 30 and was a Mexican Olympian. And meanwhile, he's been moved so slowly. Can't blame Top Rank, because originally he signed with Schaefer. Have you heard for Vienna? Mount Fuji was covered. Couldn't even see. Went all the way to Zoko for no reason. Covered with clouds, you mean? Or covered in snow? People would be disappointed. You're sort of there in the wrong season. Do they still have all the flowering trees? Or is it over now? Because spring, right? The Taiwanese people love to go there to take pictures of all the trees flowering. And then they love to go there in the fall to see all the maple leaves change color. Excuse me, sorry. But let's get back to this boxing shit. So obviously another big fight card this weekend. I talked about it on my Kazakhstan card. Was Janibek defending his 2 titles. And now the question is, what's next for Janibek? Obviously, he came out with a statement recently saying that Lara and Adames are not on his level, which he got criticized for. But I'm like, what do you expect him to fucking say? Like, True School, like, shit on him because he made that statement. But you expect a guy who's a unified champion that has been blatantly ducked by, tons of top level fighters to feel that he is superior. If you talk to any of the elite fighters in boxing, they also feel they are superior to all the opponents around them, right? Shakur feels he's superior to Lomachenko and Tank Davis. Tank Davis feels he's superior to fucking all those guys. It's normal. If Janibek came out and didn't feel that way, then I might have an issue. But with him feeling like those guys are below him, that's what I think he should say. I think Carlos Adames would say the same thing. I think Erislandy Lara would say the same thing. Obviously, Shiraz, he missed his opportunity, right? He moved away. Lara destroys Janibek within 6. See, historically, Lara didn't destroy any top elite fighters. So to say Lara destroys Janibek within 6, it seems more of a fanboy statement than anything based on reality. A 41-year-old Lara who's looked good against bum-ass competition that he's fighting, literally bum-ass competition, has looked good against that competition. But all those guys fucking Janibek would have destroyed as well, right? The last good opponent that Lara fought was who? When he fought Castano back at 154 pounds and was gifted a draw. And let's be honest, Janibek is a better fucking fighter, taller, longer, with a more effective jab, a better boxing skill set than, Danny Garcia is not fucking a good fighter. Let's stop. He fucking was a 147-pound fighter fighting at 160 and fucking hadn't done anything since he was at 140 pounds. And actually was very inactive before he got put into a fight with Lara. So to say he was a good opponent, oh my God, only a PBC fanboy would say that. Lara's the first man to stop Danny. Yeah, because Danny fought him at fucking 160 pounds. Danny is a 140-pound fighter. He was not even a legitimate 147-pound fighter. That's why he never beat anyone at 147. Now he doesn't go to 154 and fight anyone legitimate. Then he jumps up to 160 thinking he's going to be able to beat a 41-year-old fighter who is taller, longer, faster, even as an old man, way more skilled, and a southpaw. Oh my God. Everybody knew fucking Lara was going to beat Danny Garcia. The question was he going to fucking destroy him like he did? So, but to say that for Lara, somehow this was some elite fight, what do you think would happen to Danny Garcia if he fought fucking Janibek? First of all, Janibek would have been crucified for cherry picking a small fighter and weight bullying him. I mean, we know the narratives. Janibek wouldn't have got the pass that Lara got. He would have been fucking crucified big time for taking on Danny Garcia. Let's just see if the PBC, now that they work with Top Rank, is going to make any of those fights, right? Whether they make the in-house fight between Lara and Adames, or whether they make the fight between one of those two champions and obviously Janibek, which hopefully can get made this year. Because by the end of 2025, we want to at least see Janibek fight one of those PBC fighters, or we want to see those two PBC fighters fight each other. I don't care which way it goes. Either way is fine with me, just leading towards undisputed sometime in early 2026. But that's the way it should go, to be fair. And to say we should have undisputed by 2025, well, we know that the PBC don't make their fighters fight that often, so that's unlikely at best. Drunk Irishman says, weight classes for a reason. Lara got Jamel next on the Tank rematch undercard. I thought Jamel was coming back to 154 because he was talking about how he's the king of the division. I'm not surprised, don't get me wrong, for them to fucking throw Jamel in with Lara. I mean, the PBC loves a fucking retread fight. There's nothing they would like more than fighting inactive fucking Charlo, who just coming off of a fucking embarrassing loss to Canelo, to jump in with a 41-year-old fucking Erislandy Lara, right? Of course they would love that. I thought Lara would probably be fighting Elijah Garcia. That's why Elijah got that gift victory against what's his face, the other American fighter. But I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Even though to act as if Lara and Jermell is a great fight at this point, I mean, if Jermell loses, I don't even see that fight happening. Those guys could have fought for unification at 154 fucking years ago. But yet none of those fucking guys fought. You had Lara, Charlo, Andrade. And none of those fucking guys fought each other to unify. Right? It took Hurd to actually start to open up that division. Thank you, Hurd. But as I say, out of these three fighters, we know Hamza Shiraz is apparently going to move up. So at that point, I mean, if he wins a world title, if Canelo drops the titles, Hamza Shiraz wins a title, then the possibility of Janibek fighting him for a title would make more sense. Sean, did you speak on Tim versus Joey Spencer already? Not yet, but needless to say, in my little PPT right here, I don't really talk about it because nobody fucking cares. Again, this is a card that means nothing, right? The card was shit. Tim Tszyu was given a fucking easy fighter to get a win after 2 back-to-back losses by the PBC. That's exactly what Joey Spencer was. Joey Spencer is fucking garbage. And the fight went exactly the way people should have thought it would have went. Joey Spencer was garbage fucking before he stepped up to face on a top 10, 154-pound fighter. So it's no surprise. He already got knocked out by Ramos. It's no surprise he got knocked out by Tim Tszyu. The more natural fight now would be Ramos versus Tim Tszyu. That's a fight we should do. That would be a fucking fight of the year candidate for sure. Ramos is a very aggressive fighter, but only has one gear. Tim Tszyu is a very aggressive fighter, but is a little fucking vulnerable, especially coming off of 2 losses back to back. Maybe they can do that. But what did you think of the fight? Were you impressed by Tim Tszyu? I mean, we know what we're going to get now. Another retread fight. Tim Tszyu versus Keith fucking Thurman. Even though I would prefer Keith Thurman to fight Errol Spence. If Errol Spence is going to come back, you might as well throw him in with Keith Thurman. That fight makes sense. If you're going to put it on pay-per-view, at least now with their history and their name recognition, it makes more sense than throwing Tim Tszyu into that fight. Who wants to watch Tim Tszyu? Really? Thank you very much, Hollow Ninja. Mel Charlo should skip 154 and kill stuff at 160. Yeah, I agree. But he's the one that brought up the division of 154, acting as if he was going to go back because it's his division. And obviously, being the champion in recess, he can maneuver himself right into a Funduro fight, right? And so probably maneuver himself ahead of, what's his face, the Puerto Rican kid. So it made sense for him to do that, but he's not going to make weight comfortably now after moving up to 168, being out for so long, fucking having too much money and eating too well. 160 makes sense. You add Charlo to the Lara Adames thing, it means fucking Hamza Shiraz definitely not going to get an opponent because those PBC fighters are just going to do a trilogy between the 3 of them, fighting for those 2 titles, not even looking in the direction of fucking Janibek. The same thing they did at 175 pounds with Jean Pascal and the boys. Tim was for the taking, but Joey was so naive and inexperienced to capitalize. Yeah, because he's garbage. He's always been garbage. PBC hyping up that kid, acting as if he fucking had some future ahead of him. Oh my God. What future did he have? They're hoping to capitalize on the white boxing fan base in America, which is so huge and so supportive of white American fighters. Is that a thing? I don't think so. But yeah, that guy definitely isn't fucking the face of that group for sure. He's garbage. You might as well use fucking Caleb Plant instead of him. At least Caleb Plant got some skills. This is something funny that I saw people literally hating on Janibek for saying, but why wouldn't he chase after Canelo Alvarez? Literally everybody is chasing after Canelo Alvarez. This is a fight that makes tons of sense. If it makes money, it makes sense. But Janibek came out and said, Canelo, where are you? I'm the king of middleweight. You think you're the king too? Let's show the world a fight between two kings. Respectful, right? I think obviously this is a good fight, but Janibek needs to be realistic. Obviously, Canelo's got to fight with Skull next, and then he's going to fight Bud Crawford on a huge fucking fight. After that, maybe Janibek will be a potential opponent, because when you think about it, who can Canelo fight? If he doesn't fight Bivol to rematch Bivol, right, and try to become a two-weight undisputed champion, which would be historic as well, he could fight David Benavidez, especially if David Benavidez gets that WBC title that gets stripped, so Canelo can go fight him for that title, become a two-time light heavyweight champion, and then try to unify with Bivol. So that's 4 fights right there, right? Bivol, Benavidez, Bud Crawford, and obviously William Skull. I don't see where Janibek fits into that. Maybe after the 4-fight deal with Turki Al-Sheikh, but otherwise, yeah. He does not fit into that at all. At all. And reasonably, I mean, there's opponents that I would rather see Janibek fight. I think Janibek's like GG, everybody avoids him. He is being avoided, but not that he's at the level of GGG. GGG was destructive and destroying people and getting a ton of attention through the media, right? He was being ducked because he was super dangerous. I think Janibek is being ducked because he just doesn't have any name recognition in the American market, right? Which is why I was kind of hoping that Hamza Shiraz would win, because then I figured Turki Al-Sheikh would have made the fight between Hamza Shiraz and Janibek. But even though, I mean, if Janibek moves up to 168, there's a lot of good fights there for him. Berlanga, Plant, obviously Munguia, you got Mbili, Pacheco. There's a lot of other fights that aren't called Canelo Alvarez that are all really fucking great fights, and fights that would be great for his career. If he wins any of those fights, his legacy is way better than it is right now. Even though he's not winning a world title at 168, he's still going to get way more credit if he beats those opponents at 168 on his way trying to earn a second weight division world title. You know, nothing against him. I mean, if you can become undisputed at 160, then you do it. But if the PBC is going to have 3 fighters fighting over 2 belts, it probably means Janibek is on the outside looking in. And just because PBC and Top Rank say they're going to work together, seeing is believing. I mean, unless you're a knockout boxing 886, I don't think anyone really feels that PBC is going to change, because historically, what happened to PBC fighters when they faced Top Rank fighters? They got beat. And what's going to be different now? Nothing. So PBC is going to make all those fights and all their fighters are going to get beat? I don't know if that's what the PBC is looking forward to at all. It's not a way to build up future stars for their platform by watching their overhyped fighters get beat by top-ranked fighters. Did you hear Berlanga recent interview saying he gave Canelo his toughest fight? Laugh out loud. Yeah, 12-0 was Canelo's toughest fight. He never left first gear. Yeah, no, I mean, he's just trying to continue to market himself through social media. I mean, to be fair, I mean, it's better to keep himself attached to Canelo and keep people talking about him, even if they're just laughing at him and thinking he's a fucking clown. Because chances are, like, when you think about it now, which fighter outside of Canelo does everybody want to fight? Berlanga. Because he does have some name recognition, right? Pacheco, Munguia, Plant, Mbili, they would all love a chance to fight Berlanga, because it would be the biggest fucking payday of their careers and probably the most anticipated, most watched fight of their careers as well. But yeah, the kid's fucking delusional. He better watch out, because his eminent fucking knockout is not far away. The only good thing he's got going for him is he's so fucking big he can take a punch. Uh, this fight was a good fight. Heavyweight Impact, Joe Joyce, Hergovich. Uh, Obviously, on the UK card on the zone, this fight card delivered, right? I mean, it is what we knew it was going to be. Two big, plodding fucking heavyweights trying to fucking knock each other's heads off. And that's exactly what the fight was. Obviously, Hergovich has always been a bit more skilled than Joyce, and that was eminent or evident in this fight. The ability to land straight shots, especially his jab, a little more effectively, move a little more, and sort of get away from Joyce's pressure. But right now, they say that a potential fight for Hergovich will be Joseph Parker for that WBO title. I think that would be fantastic, right? Uh, Obviously, this would be the second time Parker would be the WBO champion. So, it would be good for him, obviously regaining his old title. And to fight Hergovich, it's a style that Parker could beat. But at the same time, Hergovich is a dangerous fighter. Come on, Boss Deck. Again, you're just like all these other guys exposing your nonsense. How is he a fraud when he's barely even talked about and he's not even considered one of the top five heavyweights in boxing? But he's a fraud. He was a top ranked amateur fighter who's been one of the 10 best fighters in the heavyweight division. Has he been a superstar? No. But obviously, coming in, people knew that he was, you know, he'd already been beaten the amateurs by certain opponents. So there was questions about how good he'd be as a pro. The one thing he did show was he has a great chin. He's huge. So obviously you could capitalize on these things. But, it's the same as Joyce. I remember Joyce getting outboxed by Usyk in the amateurs. And so it was no surprise that, eventually when he got to the pros, he'd be outbeat boxed as well. He's just slow, like George Foreman. It was just a surprise the big, slow fucking Chinaman was able to beat him. A guy that, in truth, you figure he would have been a little more mobile then, but still he wasn't. And obviously, he doesn't have the hand speed either. Uh, Joyce is a gold medalist. Yeah. And Hergovich was a medalist. I mean, they were all top heavyweights. But the thing with heavyweights, being gold medalists, they're top 10 fighters, world title contenders. So, I mean, they all lived up to their expectations. They just obviously weren't as good as Dubois, AJ, Fury, or Usyk. And there's not many fighters in boxing history that are going to be better than those four fighters, right? Obviously, AJ is chinny, but he's a very skilled fighter, skilled, good power, pretty good hand speed. Fury is a fucking behemoth with good boxing ability. Daniel Dubois, not the best, most slick fighter, but obviously a guy with a great jab and good power. And then, of course, Usyk is the cream of the crop. Richard Torres is terrible. I won't say he's terrible. The problem with Torres is he shouldn't be fighting at heavyweight. He should be a cruiserweight. If he was a cruiserweight, a potential fight with him and Jay Opataya, a potential drunk Irishman, that's the fight he would like, a potential fight with him and Zurdo Ramirez, right? Those would be great fights. Him being a heavyweight, I mean, we know that he struggles with guys with good jabs, right? He has a hard time getting past that jab. And when he does get past, he's not that effective on the inside, right? I mean, he tries, but, guys hang on you, they lean on you, they hold you. That's the history of heavyweight boxing. Remember Mike Tyson in his prime when he fought Pinklin Thomas. He got a great knockout in that, but Pinklin Thomas kind of set the schedule. Then he fought Tucker, and then he fought someone else. And those big guys, once he got past their jab in the right hand, all they did was lean on him, hold him, and tie him up. And Tyson just allowed them to do that. He didn't really throw too much on the inside. He didn't really hook to the body. He allowed them to pull him in. And those guys all went the distance, ended up losing fights, but, didn't get knocked out, right? Torres is Obviously not Mike Tyson. Hollow Ninja, thank you very much. Bud said that he would go down to 154 to fight the biggest guy after the Canelo fight because the division might be undisputed by then. Man, Sean, just imagine a four-time undisputed champion. Legendary. Well, if he beats Canelo, in honesty, I think he will just retire at that point. Because what else do you need to do, right? What else can you accomplish? If he loses to Canelo, I could see him more likely going down to 154 and trying to get that undisputed title, or potentially going to 160 and taking on Charlo for a title, right, to become a five-weight world champion, which is would be historic as well. Bud's tripping. Why is he tripping? This is what you want guys to do: chase after the biggest fights, especially at the end of their career. You're not going to fight everyone, but you want to fight the biggest money fights, the biggest fights available to you. Hollow Ninja, Bud will go out like Roy if he does that. Well, I don't think he'll go like Roy. Because in truth, I don't think he's putting on as much weight as Roy Jones did. Bud, 38 years old, very inactive, yo-yoing weight. Wow. I don't think he's really yo-yoing weight too much. Bud always is pretty big during the off season. Not like huge and fat, but just like I think walking around at like about 175, 180. Right? So to come in at 154, 160, I think that's pretty doable. The question is at 168, is he going to try to put on a lot of extra weight, which I think would be the wrong thing to do. I think the thing he wants to do is make sure that he's got fast feet, good legs, and then he could beat Canelo Alvarez. If he's going to come in and try to put on weight and be able to muscle with Canelo on the inside, his legs are going to be shot, and I think he won't last 12 rounds. 147, 154, 186, 168, 154. What's that? What's 186? I know he fought at 147, fought at 154. He now weighs 186, and then he's going to fight at 168 and then come down to 154. But we don't know what he walks around with outside, right? He could always be around 186. So then it doesn't really mean too much. That's what you got to tell me. How much did he weigh before the Madrimov fight? Between, obviously, Spence and Madrimov. If he was walking around at like 180 something then what's the difference? There is no difference. But if he was walking around and say like 174, and now he's put on like 12 pounds of muscle, and then he's going to try to go back down, okay, I get your point then. But that's why I say a lot of this is just conjecture. Here we go, the controversy of the weekend. So I don't know if you guys watched that UK fight card, but one of the fights was David Adelaide. David Adelaide fought this kid here that had some nickname. I don't know what he was called, but British Boxing Board is going to make a decision on Adelaide versus, TKV controversy at Wednesday meeting. On the break, Adelaide clocked him with a left hand, which really ruined the kid. Afterwards, I mean, he didn't have anything left, so it didn't take long for the ref to jump in and save him. But the ref wasn't breaking the fight, not from what I could see. The ref was taking down guys' hands from holding. When you push a guy's hand down to tell them to stop clinching, you still can punch. They didn't say stop, break, right? It was more of a knocking his arms down. You know, when guys are holding and you put their hands down to say, hey, stop grabbing. You're not telling them to break. You're just saying stop your holding. And at that point, the left hand, what's the old adage in boxing? Protect yourself at all times, right? This guy should have fucking been protecting himself. He wasn't. He got fucking flatlined based on that punch. When you fight dangerous heavyweights, that's what happens, man. Right? Remember, Rigo did that to a guy. I don't think he fucking had a no contest in that fight, and he hit the guy like after the fucking bell rang. And that's clearly different because the bell literally rang, then you hit him after. So the refs know the bell already rang. So at that point, you got to call it a no contest because the guy wasn't able to continue fighting, even though he clearly got punched after the bell. In this case, I don't think the ref said break, separate. From what I saw, the ref literally just pushed the guy's arm down to say stop holding, right? Which is different than calling for a break. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you saw it, do you think the guy did something illegal, Adelaide, or do you think TKV was just careless and got fucking caught in the clinch? And then, of course, we already mentioned the Delgado Elvis Rodriguez fight card, another fight that I feel Elvis Rodriguez won. I won't say it's a robbery because I think it was a close fight, but I just felt that Elvis was more effective. He was landing the cleaner shots, a lot more of the good shots, right? The shots that caught your attention as well. Whereas I felt that Delgado, the problem with him is he just fights in one gear and he doesn't fucking throw combinations. He doesn't pick it up at points. So I felt he really sort of did what Ramos did when he fought Lubin, similar type of performance. And Elvis Rodriguez kind of did a Lubin performance, right? Did better than expected and landed a lot of clean shots. And because the other guy was just ineffective, you lost, right? And it is what it is. But let me know what you guys thought. Ref yelled out break. I thought he yelled break. Protect yourself at all times. He could say break, but then when he went in and moved the guy's arm, right? Because who knows what you can hear? Usually it's a sign, right? So I don't know. What do you think, Drunk Irishman? Do you think Adelaide is going to be no contest and then a rematch? I think calling a rematch is fair enough, right? I think you don't want to be, whenever you watch sports, when it becomes overly fucking refereed, that's the problem with government, right? I think if Trump is getting rid of more government and bringing less, it's good. I wish they would do that in Canada. Less government is not a bad thing. And with football, English Premier League, fucking, oh my God, less fucking television replays. We don't need to stop everything in a free-flowing fucking game to check every single fucking call. The refs fucking got a job to do. Do your fucking job. If something is clearly fucking crazy, then you fucking tell them. But otherwise, if it's close, just fucking let it go. Let the game move forward. It's not football. It's not baseball where you have these big natural breaks in the sport. Football, soccer is a free-flowing sport where people want to celebrate. Boxing is the same. We don't need overly fucking judging. Then you take away the whole passion for the sport. Fans can't get excited about something because now you're going to question fucking everything. And this is not like Tank Davis, because what he did was clearly fucking, he took a fucking knee. You take a knee, you get an 8 count. You turn your back, walk away from the ref, and then get your fucking corner to wipe your eye. That's breaking the fucking rules. Especially if the ref didn't say, come here, because refs do that. Refs will tell the guy to wipe the fucking grease off your face, do stuff of that nature. So if the ref would have said it, then it is what it is, but the ref didn't. So some things are clearly illegal. In this case, what Adelaide did, okay. I mean, you could say that it was, not the most sporting type of thing to do. But in boxing, protect yourself at fucking all times. That's the onus. That's what you learn when you get in the gym. The first fucking thing you learn is to do that. The fact he got caught because he's being lazy on the break, what are you being lazy on the break for? You should always fucking break, ready fucking to defend. You can't break like so fucking laissez-faire. It's just, it shows me that mentally you're just going to get knocked out anyway. Thank you again, Hollow Ninja. I like and respect Errol a lot. Flying 32 feet out of a car and fighting is not easy, but he really wasted a lot of his career with inactivity. I didn't fly 32 feet out of a car, but I flew fucking a few yards off a motorcycle on a number of occasions. And I didn't keep fighting, but I continued to fucking keep teaching. And I still fucking can pronounce my ABCs. So I think, I deserve that credit just as much as Errol Spence does, maybe more so. Because the sport he does, you don't need to be the most cognitive fucking person to be good at it. But in my job, working with 4 and 5 year olds, you got to be on your fucking game. When you start getting corrected by 4 and 5 year olds, fucking CT scans are fucking something you should check out. What else are we talking about tonight? Oh, let's look. So here's the fight cards. Obviously, we have the card from Kazakhstan. That's the problem with Kazakhstan. Some of these fights, we know the results, but unfortunately, they did not tell us. Obviously, Janibek won his fight. Sultan Zorbak beat Asinga Fuzili. Jukambayev beat Gardner. Baklor Jalalov, the same man that knocked out Richard Torres, who fought this weekend as well, got a decision, first decision of his career against a tough Ukrainian fighter. Otenbek Kolmatov got a bounce back win after his first career loss. The sexy Kazakhstan fighter, Baluosa Mazudunian, lost her knockout streak as well, but did get the victory. And young up-and-coming Kazakhstan amateur, Mahmoud Sabiakan, got his first win as a professional. And then, of course, you had the Joyce Hergovich fights and David Adelaide versus this TKO guy. I didn't watch the English card. Obviously, it's way too early in the morning. But what can Janibek fight next? What can Will Janibek fight? Who can Janibek fight next? We talked about it. Obviously, now with potential PBC top rank amalgamation, co-promotion, this should open up the opportunities of him fighting the other two world champions, obviously WBC and WBA champions, Carlos Adames and Erzlandi Lara. And as mentioned earlier on this live, potentially 154-pound undisputed champion, Charlo, might be moving to the 160-pound division, which would be fucking great. I think it's great. I would love to see Charlo move to the division and just add some more fucking quality to the weight class. Then you have Elijah Garcia, which means the PBC got 4 fighters. Janibek is top rank. So I don't know if the PBC is really going to work with top rank, but let's hope so. Cross your fingers, hope to die, stick a needle in your eye. Let's hope it works out, but we will have to see. The WBC ordered Mark Maxaya and Rocky Hernandez. Sign me up for that fight. So what would that mean? The winner would fight who? Who's the WBC champion? It's 140 pounds, right? Sorry, 130 pounds. So who's the 130-pound champion? Oh, it's Oshaki Foster. Okay, yeah. I would like to see Oshaki fight fucking Navarrete, but obviously to see him fight the winner of Hernandez and Magsaia, it's a good opponent, right? He should beat either one of them, but who knows? Well, Magsaia, right? A lot of these Filipino fighters, the first time they take a loss, their careers are basically done. Mentally, they're broken. That way we see something different. Well, that's the thing. I don't know how Hernandez, I don't think we really want to see that rematch, even though, to be fair, he probably deserves a rematch with Oshaki Foster based on their first fight, which was a spectacular fight. Just looked at the replay. Ref yelled back 2 times. The guy snuck in a punch on the ref's blind side. Ref should have dealt with it on the spot. Navarrete would make a shocky fight. What's up, Heinrich? I just think Navarrete and Oshaki would be an interesting style matchup. Obviously, Oshaki Foster is a much more skilled fighter, longer reach, so he could make Navarrete look ugly at times. but because Navarrete is so awkward, the way he delivers punches. We've seen Oshaki Foster struggle with pressure fighters like Rocky Hernandez. So it'd be an interesting matchup. And at this point, those are the two obviously best fighters in the division. Lamont Roach, I mean, we would have liked to see Lamont Roach fight Oshaki Foster, but he wanted to fight Tank Davis instead. And then who's the other champion? The IBF champion. Well, that's unification. So, of course, we want to see that. Yeah, of course, we want to see that. I just say I prefer it. But don't get me wrong, I'm happy to see these kind of fighters like Hernandez Magsayo fight. But I think Hernandez is going to beat Magsayo, if you ask me. But who's the other fucking champion? The guy that your favorite fighter Nunez is going to fight? Is it still an English guy? Foster and Fulton will fight. I can't get excited about that. To be fair, it's if Fulton moves up to try to become a three-weight world champion, oh, it's vacant. Okay, that's what I thought. If Fulton moves up and tries to beat Foster to become a three-weight world champion, he deserves a fucking ton of respect because he just won a title at 126. Nobody expects him to move up to 130 at this point. People would expect him to fight, try to fill his pockets with cash, maybe try to unify against somebody at 126 pounds. To move up to 130 and take on Oshaki, that's big balls. Who do you think Albert Bardagayev should fight next? He's the interim champion. Well, obviously, I would have liked to see Albert fight Lamont Roach, right, for that legitimate title. But the way things are, I mean, I would expect maybe Lamont Roach is going to drop that title and stay at 135, which means then obviously we just want to see Albert fight the highest rated fighter by the WBA to give him a chance to win that title. I like Albert, super skilled fighter, but I think he's got a bit of a Amir Khan chin on him. In his last fight, which I got right here, I still didn't rewatch it, against Neri Romero. Man, he looked fucking. Wow, his chin, man. He's still so. He's a great fighter. His combination punching, right? You can see that he's got great amateur pedigree. He's really a skilled offensive fighter. The problem is defensively, he needs to use more of a high guard sometimes because he keeps his hands too low. He's too easy to fucking hit. And then his chin is way too suspect, right? So, and that was the second fight in a row where he got dropped and really looked fucking vulnerable. Sean don't like defensive chess matches. He's the guy that said he doesn't like it. David, not me. I said we should give Fulton tons of respect for taking on that fight. Do I think stylistically it's going to be a great fight? I don't know, because I wouldn't say that either one of those fighters are super defensive. We've seen Oshaki Foster get pulled into fights a lot, right? With the Rocky Hernandez fight, he really got pulled into a war. We've also seen Fulton get pulled into wars as well. So, we'd have to see how that fight unfolded. Sometimes because fighters look like they're real defensive, doesn't mean they're always going to fight real defensive, right? Not all these guys are counter punchers, right? And defense first. You think about Raymond Ford when he fought another guy that's on this card here who got a victory, right? Ultimbek Kolmatov. Raymond Ford beat him for that title. Kolmatov bounced back, beat this guy, Jason Kanoy, stopped him late in the fight after being out for about a year since that loss. Ford, nobody expected Ford to be the aggressor in that fight. People expected Ford to be the boxer, right? The counter puncher, the guy that was trying to control the range with his jab and his feet. But Kolmatov was outboxing him, controlling range with his feet and his jab. And Ford became the aggressive come forward fighter, breaking him down with his big punches, which big punches. Whoever thought Raymond Ford was going to do that? So, I just don't like fights that turn out to be boring, defensive first, counter punching for Rays. Example, Oshaki Shakur Stevenson. I still think Shakur is a great fighter, but when he fights like that, I don't like it. I think you should put combination punches together. If you're going to be defensive, that's fine. But when you let your hands go, you should fucking let your hands go, right? Like Sugar Ray Leonard, right? You should shock and awe us with your fucking hand speed and your combination punching, and then get the fuck out and then start doing what you're doing again. If he did more of that, people would prefer him and like him far more. If you're going to be like Rigo and fucking not throw enough punches and not show any fucking power, and be so hesitant to fucking engage, how can you expect people to be happy about it? Nobody pays to watch that shit. That's why you guys don't watch the amateurs. Here we go. Otenbek Kolmatov fight ended in a knockout. As part of the boxing evening in Astana, an interesting fight took place between lightweight rep Kolmatov, 13-1, 12 KOs, and Filipino Jason Canoy, 30, 13, 2 with 20. And apparently Jason Cano went down many times, but consistently still got up, gave it a tough fight until the ref ended up waving it off, I think, later on in the fight to allow Kolmatov to move to 14-1 with 13 KOs. So for Kolmatov, it'll be interesting to see what he does. If Fulton moves up and takes on Oshaki Foster, look forward to, Kolmatov trying to become a champion with that title there, right? So, that's not bad news for him, even though I wouldn't mind seeing him actually fight Fulton. Let's go, Presser. Boholchuk is going to fight Mikhail Fox. That bout is okay. Oh, my God, really? Oh, really? Man, that's a fucking retread fucking as hell fight. You tell me you can't get better fucking matches up than fucking Fox. Yeah, Fox not bad, but like Mean Machine, Maestro, there's better opponents, man. Better opponents. And Boholchuk, Maestro, a 147-pound fighter. When he fought Fox, was it at 154? I just think he should fucking get better opportunities. That's all. Fighting Fox, I don't think that's going to make anyone excited. Where's that? Boholchuk, is it listed? I agree. Like Conwell or Murtazaliev. That's what I figure. You go chase Murtazaliev, who's not going to fucking be. It's not going to be easy for him to get opponents. But a guy like him, it's your opportunity to get a world title. No one else wants Murtazaliev. You go fight fucking Murtazaliev. It's not listed right now. With his bounce back against, you already had your bounce back against fucking Ishmael Davis. Now you take on Fox. It's a similar type of opponent, right? Like, why wouldn't you just jump at Murtazaliev? Or if the IBF mandates you to fight Conwell, then the winner becomes the mandatory for Murtazaliev. Then, okay, then I understand doing that fight as well. Even though if you could skip Conwell, because he doesn't have a world title, so you wouldn't want to fight him unless it's going to lead to an opportunity to win a world title. If you can just get a Murtazaliev fight right off the bat, jump at that shit. Get it. Go get it. I thought it was funny. I was listening to people shit on, Dante's Boxing Nation. He was shitting on Torres because of his fight against Guido Fernello. And Dante was shitting, didn't even know how to say Vellino's name, acted as if he's never seen the kid fight before and doesn't even know who he is. When Torres was fighting Vanello, most people felt it was a 50-50 fight, right? Torres is a guy who hasn't fought anyone, right? He is like the epitome of a fucking guy just coming up in the boxing world. Now you throw him in with Guido. Guido fucking, even when Guido got beat, Guido was fucking legitimate. I don't think anyone is shitting on Guido. Right? Like, what did Guido do recently? 13-3, only knocked out one time, one draw, 11 KOs. Obviously, recently, what did he do? He got beat by Jonathan Rice. That was the guy that fucking Dante was shitting on him. But Jonathan Rice is a hard puncher, ex-football player, right? Beat Curtis Harbert, beat Moses Johnson, fucking fought Effie Ajagba to a fucking split decision, right? And then just came off of a victory against fucking Makhmudov, right? A guy that was people were talking about was going to be the boogeyman of the heavyweight division until he ran into that German Turkish kid. So you fight this guy, my Canadian brethren from Russia, beat him in 8 rounds, and then you fight Torres, you're easily fucking favored to win that fight, right? Because who's Torres fought? Nobody, right? You fought literally top level fighters in Ajagba and Makhmudov. Torres has fought who? Nobody. His last fight, he fought Isaac Munez. I don't know who that guy was in an 8 fucking rounder. Before that, he fought Joey fucking Dewecki. Come on, Joey hasn't been fucking relevant for fucking years. Like, literally hasn't fought anybody. Like, it's a who's of nobody, right? Now you throw me with Guido, and Guido's 13-2-1, but fucking coming off of 2 great performances back to back. You know, a fight where he could have easily got the decision against Effie Ajagba, and Effie Ajagba, who's going to be fighting, obviously, what's his face, the Cameroon fucking killer, right, coming up soon. So yeah, I don't know. Guido was winning and then stopped on a cut. Was the fight stopped on against Harper? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't like he got knocked out. But that's Dante, right? You know, of course, we know why he's shitting on Torres, because it was the same video where he was fucking praising fucking Abdullah Mason. So you're going to praise the fucking up and coming black fighter only to shit on the fucking up and coming Mexican fighter, right? But yet, if you want to shit on Torres, what are you going to say about fucking Jared Big Baby fucking Anderson? Because the guy that knocked him out just had a split decision against fucking, is going to be fighting a guy that Vellinelli just had a split decision with. Richard Torres is just another hyped up Amaro bum, just no different from Jared Anderson. Well, to be fair, Heinrich, I mean, I think Jared Anderson's potential is way better than fucking Torres. You know, he's 6'4", got long arms, naturally a big dude, can carry a lot of weight. You know, the possibility of him being a great American, the best American since who? Mike Tyson, Holyfield, and Riddick Bowe. Like, those were the last 3 great American heavyweights. Has there been one since then? Right? I think you could have totally looked forward to him not being as good as those 3, but obviously, you know, hopefully moving in that direction. As far as Torres, I don't think anybody ever fucking saw Torres to have that kind of upside. Construct makes fun of Turkey's events for not selling. Even if he doesn't sell, the event is still spreading. I don't understand this hate from these fucking American fucking YouTubers that are boxing fans, like Boxing 886 as well. Like, why do you care that these events aren't selling? Part of the reason they're not selling on TV is because Americans like you, like these guys, that are just fucking so fucking xenophobic and so negative, right? I'm a sports fan. I don't care what country events happen, right? World events, fucking world games, fucking Olympics. I'm excited to watch these events. World Cup, right? I watch fucking English Premier League. So maybe that's why I'm different than these fucking guys, because I watch an English football league, right? And it's one of my favorite things to watch outside of boxing and college basketball. NBA has dropped down. English Premier League has went up. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm just not so fucking xenophobic as these guys. And I'm from Canada, so of course we grew up next to America, so we always watched American sports as well. But this mentality, like, if you're a fucking fan of the fucking events and boxing, why would you shit on someone who's literally trying to help out boxing and give you and me, boxing fans, something that we've been asking for? And his irony is fucking his favorite fighter is getting a huge opportunity to fight in New York thanks to Turkey Al Sheikh. But you're going to shit on Turkey Al Sheikh events to fanboy for who? The fucking PBC? Uh, Promotional company that gave us 5 fucking fight cards last year, 2 of which were Canelo Alvarez fights, which means they gave us 3 fight cards. You tell me they're successful? Come on, those pay-per-views that PBC puts out, none of them are successful for the most part. Outside of maybe Tank Davis and Canelo, the rest are fucking garbage. David Benavidez fight cards, those fucking things didn't sell shit. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I just don't think Torres is going to pan out. Yeah, me neither. Don't mean he's a bad fighter. I don't think Torres beat Shaloff in a rubber match, though, laugh out loud. Don't forget the great Charles Martin. Charles Martin was a champion, yes, but I walked the earth like a king. Best line fucking from a American heavyweight since Muhammad Ali. Even if the event does not sell, at least the event did sell. Well, fuck, man. Who cares? Like, why do fans care? If you're not putting money on it, why do you care if it's not being profitable? I'm just happy to get fights that I get to watch, big events that I'm excited about, and on my channel I'll hype up and I'll talk about. Unfortunately, these other fucking channels with big platforms don't, much to the detriment of the sport of boxing. Another subject change, can I see where Andy Hiroka is Gary Russell's mandatory? But I don't think that's really right up there right now, right? You know that PBC, who are they going to fight? The last crescendo could have been astronomical numbers instead of us unifying as boxing fans. No, we're going to fanboy and create narratives, clowns and haters. Exactly, man. Like, why would you hate on one of the fucking deepest fucking cards in boxing history? Oh, because I got to watch it in the afternoon. Fuck, man. That's when I used to watch most of my boxing on Saturdays and Sundays. It used to always be in the afternoon. Always. Only Tuesday night and Friday night fights were at night. Fucking events otherwise always were in the afternoons. Saturday and Sunday afternoons. Because they didn't need to compete with bigger fucking programming. Right? Not until Showtime and HBO came in did we start getting Saturday night, Saturday night fights. Prior to that, it wasn't normal. These guys are just mental. They're not fans of sports. They just want something controversial to fucking push on their channels consistently. If it's fucking controversial, they're excited, even if it's fucking negative. I see where Norman is continuing his ducking of Jaron Ennis and creaming over the idea of a Jin Sasaki fight. Well, to be fair, he's not ducking Jaron Ennis. Jaron Ennis has a fight scheduled, right? So if you want to fight your mandatory in Jin Sasaki, then you might as well fight your mandatory, go to Japan, get a career high payday to fight him in Japan, right? It makes sense. And then when you come back, then you're in line to fight fucking the winner of Stanionis and Boots Ennis for unification. And you're a bit more of a global star too, because you fought outside of America. Americans still believe they have the monopoly on boxing, so it's unfortunate to them that would have to compete with Turkey. Fucking man, compete. Why are American fans competing? Like, we're not promoters. When fucking Bob Arum and fucking Don King literally wanted to kill each other, I did not hear anyone fanboying for either one of those promotional fucking teams. We just fucking loved when great fights were made. And when they worked together to give us great fights, we were even more excited. But people weren't fucking jumping on Don King because he was black and then jumping on Bob Arum because he wasn't black. No one fucking cared. They weren't the topic of discussion. The fights they made were the topic of discussion. You missed my super chat, Sean. Where? Oh. Where did that come from? Sorry, man. Russia, Ukraine, Lithuania, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. What's this? You're trying to fucking test my pronunciation? These guys from the Eastern European and Central Asian regions are extremely dangerous. And we see that all the time, man. Just look at fucking the UFC. I mean, not the most exciting fighters to watch, not much personalities, and not that marketable. but fucking killers. Killers. Hiroka knocked out Suzuki at 140. Yes, knocked out Sasaki at 140. Yeah. We need to see a rematch with Russell and Puela. That gives you time to plan your night too. Wow. And to be able to go out at night, Saturday night, when has that been a bad thing? If you can stay home with the boys and fucking order pizzas and drink beers and watch boxing, that's cool. But, watching afternoon, I got family and this and that. It's like, whatever, that's your fucking issue, right? Like, don't your fucking sons have things to do in the afternoon? Like, why are they hanging out with you? When you were a teenager, when were you hanging out with your dad Saturday fucking afternoon? Like, never. Not unless it was like a fucking summer vacation trip or something, or going somewhere on the weekend, right? Up north to like the lakes or something. But otherwise, what do you mean? You're out with your boys playing fucking basketball, riding your bike around. You're not fucking hanging out at home with your mom and dad. My grandmother and grandfather were gardening in the back. I was watching fucking boxing in the living room. Uh, I told BT this, but I don't think the only guy at 140 who is down to fight anyone is Arnold Barboza. I think he would be willing to fight Matthias if he beats Lopez. I think he will fight anybody for sure. But the thing that does happen is when a guy becomes a champion, a lot of times that energy changes. So, of course, now that he's been trying to get a world title fight, his energy seems good. But maybe he'll be like everybody else once he gets a title. El Rayo got destroyed. What is next for Usyk? Daniel Dubois. I think Dubois or Parker. I think either fight is great, right? I would not be sad to see Usyk fight either one. Obviously, I would like to see Usyk fight Parker because we've never seen him fight Parker. And for Parker, I think he deserves an opportunity. For Dubois, if Dubois would have fought Parker, it would have made things simpler. Then we could have got fucking Usyk to take on the winner. Boxing is going to be a playground for the former Soviet bloc. Well, that's definitely what's happening. But some people don't want to fucking acknowledge that. They just want to continue to push their fucking, ethnocentric fucking bullshit. The truth is, why do you fucking care? Why does everything need to be America this and America that? Andy Hiroka, he's number one mandatory for Russell. So hopefully we can get that fight. I think Russell knocks out Andy Hiroka. I think Jin Sasaki gets knocked out by fucking Norman as well. Man, Alfred Santiago is number one by fucking the WBO. What has Santiago done? Fucking forever. I always think the rankings are funny. Dalton Smith, number one ranked fucking for Puedo's title. Man, Jukambayev looked good. Thank you very much, David. Yeah, we were talking, right? David sent a message on one of my videos talking about the Kazakhstan fight was on. And I figured it would be. But of course, when you click on BoxRec, right, I expect to see some results on it, but it didn't show anything. So then I'm thinking, I don't know. Because obviously I'm in Taiwan. It's Saturday night. So I figure Kazakhstan is in Asia. So they're the same time frame as me. So I end up just watching a little bit of one fight, Jalalov, and then the next fight I watched a bit and fell asleep. It was too late. But the thing is, that guy just came to survive. Yeah, well, but yeah, he's just an opponent, right? I think the majority of the opponents on that card, it was a good card and good opponents. Fazinga and the guy the Uzbekistani heavyweight guy, the Hulk. But obviously, they're hoping all their Kazakhstani fighters win and move forward into bigger and better opportunities, right? I think the guy that had the weakest opponent was probably Kolmatov. If Hiroka comes in more defensive and fights balance, he can school Russell. But I just don't know if he can do that. Like him and Jin Sasaki just show real poor defense. become too fucking uh, fixated on their power. And by that, I mean, you're going to fight a guy like Russell. And based how Russell just looked against El Rayo, Russell has never looked fucking as good as he looked against El Rayo, right? I mean, he looked fucking great. And it's not that El Rayo looked bad. I saw a comment here where somebody's shitting on him. El Rayo got destroyed. He didn't get destroyed. He fought fucking really well. Go back and watch that fight and see a lot of the success he had and the same success that he used to beat Cruz. The difference is fucking Russell, his punch output was fucking unbelievable. He was like Cepeda in there. He fucking just threw and threw and threw. Fucking never stopped throwing punches. And El Rayo, he needed to be first, right? And the problem was Russell was just so busy, he couldn't really be first because he was just off balance for most of the fight because Russell was so aggressive in that fight and so effective, right? So I really think that caught El Rayo off balance because really he never had an opportunity to really be the aggressive fighter and even move, Russell backwards, where probably Russell would have been ineffective and Rayo could have sort of been more effective. But I don't think I would sign off El Rayo. I thought he fought really well. He was just in with a guy that was definitely on the juice, man. I ain't trying to hate on Russell, but a guy throwing that much punches, if you're going to fucking accuse Cepeda of being on the juice because of his volume, what can you say about Russell? We've seen Russell fight a lot, and he'd never been that active before in his career. Let's see the combi box just to check out shit because I'm pretty sure it was fucking ridiculous. Combi box stats for Russell versus Rayo. Oh, Valenzuela. There we are. So Russell, total punches, body. Why does it say body landed? But total punches thrown. He threw 957 fucking punches, landed 252. Ryle threw 443, landed 127. So he was doubled in punches landed and fucking more than doubled in punches thrown. I mean, jabs, Ryle threw 238, Russell threw 495. Power punches, 205 to 462. Like Russell fucking threw. I go back and look at Russell's fight prior to that when he lost to fucking, what's his face, Puello. How many punches did he throw there? I think Russell beats Puello. Where are we? I think Jukambayev is better than Paro. I think so. I feel Matias should have beaten Paro. He should have, right? The difference was I think he's struggling to make weight because now his volume has dropped and he's just not as effective as he was. But he feels that he can't move up because maybe he's just not going to be as effective. I don't know. 1,000 punches, I think at least 900. Yeah, almost between 900 and 1,000 punches. Who did Russell fight prior to that? He fought Puello, right? What was the punch count for that? CompuBox stats for Gary Russell versus Puello. $619. He threw fucking over 350 more punches in this fight against Ryle than he threw against Puello. That's why when I looked at the fight, stylistically, I felt that Ryle could do the exact same thing Puello did. And I think he's better than Puello. I would like to see, actually, that'd be a good fight. Puello versus fucking Ryle, right? Yeah, I definitely think that Russell's on the juice. Not to hate on him. I'm just noticing that when you are so much more active from one fight to another and throw 350 punches, 350 punches more, why? The opponent you're fighting is very similar. How come you're able to be so much more aggressive in this fight than you were in that fight? Never looked tired at all. Early on in that fight, I said, okay, he's aggressive. He's coming out strong. What Ryle's doing is smart. He doesn't want to overextend himself. He figures that Russell is going to tire out and eventually, he'll be able to sort of capitalize on it. But the guy never tired out. What do you think about people who say Virgil did better than Crawford against Madrimov? People are delusional and just love to hate. Well, Virgil did better against Madrimov than Crawford, but marginally. And what does that say? Does that mean Virgil's better than Crawford? No. I mean, people just looking for a reason to hate on Crawford, right? The reality is styles make fights. It's completely different. Crawford is a very different fighter than Virgil. Virgil was very aggressive, come forward type of fighter. Crawford wasn't like that. He was very fucking back, counter punching. Obviously Madrimov not sitting down in his punches, being very, very tentative to get into Crawford's range. Whereas I don't think he was as tentative fighting Virgil Ortiz. He was more aggressive against Virgil, thus allowing Virgil to be more effective landing punches against him. So, it's a limited way of looking at things, but, people fucking always hating on Bud Crawford. Janibek would be a good fight for Canelo. No, he did not check the stats. Crawford landed far more, and Madrimov's face was far more bruised when he fought Bud. Was it? I don't remember. I just know his face was pretty bruised up against fucking Virgil Ortiz, right? They were landing some big shots and a lot more exchanges between the two of them than there was against Bud. That's the thing with Bud's fight. Obviously, there wasn't as much action, so you just assume that obviously Virgil was being more effective because there was a lot more exchanges between the two of them. No, Madrimov moved more against Virgil. No way. Impossible. Impossible. Let's check out the punch stats for that. Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov CompuBox. Huh. Not that. CompuBox says Ortiz threw 561 punches, Madrimov 466. So 466 he threw, and it was 561. Hmm? Terrence Bud Crawford versus Madrimov CompuBox. Crawford 433 punches. So he threw a lot less punches than Virgil, and Madrimov threw 275. Way fucking fewer. Way fewer punches than he threw against Madrimov. Not even 300 punches Madrimov threw against Bud Crawford. So, come on. I wish Crawford would have fought either Janibek or Adames before getting the Canelo payday he didn't earn. Oh, fuck, stop. He earned because he's put in the time. Crawford Madrimov was a high IQ chess match. Virgil Madrimov was more of a fight. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the difference. When you're watching the fight, one fight has more exchanges. So it looks as if Virgil is being more effective because he's landing a lot more clean, effective punches. than when you're watching Bud Crawford and Madrimov fight and fencing and, not wanting to give an inch or anything else. What's up, Jay Perez? So, that's why. I mean, just it wasn't as fun a fight to watch. It was a lot more foot feinting and fucking not throwing, trying to get the other guy to lead, and neither guy wanted to lead. So it just wasn't nearly as an entertaining fight. Crawford, Madrimov both knew who they were in there with. Both knew they couldn't just be in there throwing randomly. Well, Madrimov knew that because that's why he didn't throw many punches against Crawford, whereas he threw far more punches against Virgil Ortiz because he felt that Crawford was far more threatening, far more dangerous. But on the outside looking in, you could understand why people thought Virgil was more effective, because he was, because stylistically it was different. Crawford is painted as the good guy in the Canelo fight. I don't see it that way. Is there a bad guy? I don't see who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. I don't think in their fight it's really like that, right? Who's the bad guy? Canelo's the bad guy? Why is Canelo the bad guy? Crawford is not the bad guy. Crawford is trying to do something historic. Canelo, with much money and much encouragement, decided to take on an opponent that truthfully isn't going to help his legacy. If he beats Crawford, people are going to consistently always fucking ridicule it, criticize it, and not give him credit for it. Even though they want to give fucking Errol Spence full credit for outboxing fucking Mikey Garcia. He didn't want to knock him out. He wanted to outbox him. He wanted to show you he could outbox the boxer in Mikey Garcia, the guy that gave up fucking 7 inches in reach. Oh, is that what he wanted to do? He wanted to use his reach advantage to outbox the much smaller fighter until he was able to start landing heavier punches in the second half of the fight. Oh, fuck. Okay, no wonder. Yeah, that's a surprise. I'm sure Crawford is coming in with a very similar game plan against Canelo Alvarez as well. He's going to try to use his jab and his length early on in the fight and then open up if he can later on. I don't know how successful he will be, but David Esther, Bud would have lost to Janibek and Adamus, accusing Pacquiao of roids while being with Snack. Yeah, but come on. Crawford didn't say anything that people haven't been saying fucking for 10 years. I agree, Sean John. Maybe would have beaten Adamus. Janibek, we don't know, but I got Bud destroying Carlos Adamus like he did in sparring. Oh, yeah, Bud fucking beats Carlos Adamus. Crawford has the skill, and Janibek has the size. Exactly. Janibek would be difficult because he could control the range a little more. Also, he's prime. Crawford is well past his prime, fighting a guy much bigger than him. What's up, J.A.? Welcome. But let's scroll past up-and-coming fights. I can't wait to see Anthony Yarde actually take on somebody, right? I'm sort of disappointed that we're not going to see David Benavidez fight either Anthony Yarde or fucking Callum Smith, because I think that's what he should have done before he was put into position to get a mandatory fight with Bivol. Because I think Anthony Yarde and fucking Callum Smith have put in the work. They deserve that opportunity more so than fucking Benavidez does. And I would love to see fucking Yarde, Smith versus David Benavidez. That would be a great fight. The problem is, if Benavidez ends up inheriting a fucking belt from the WBC, the wankers that they are, do you ever think we're going to get a fight where fucking he's fighting any legitimate opponents? Because I don't know. I don't think so. I would be surprised to see him ever take on a legitimate opponent, kind of like when the PBC had the WBA regular title back in the day, and we never saw him fight anybody. Let's think. Which title would it be? WBC. So right now, Better BF is number 1. David Morrell is number 2. Morrell just lost, and already he's number 2. Vosdik is number 4. But Buatsi is number 5. Anthony Yarde is number 8. So, Morale, who's never won one fight against fucking nobody, a guy who's not even ranked in the top fucking 15. Uh, you beat him, all of a sudden you're ranked number two. But Anthony Yard doesn't deserve to be there. Vosdick, who literally fucking hasn't beaten anyone since he's come back, he's ranked ahead of both Boatsy and Yard. And they're hoping that Better Biev just retires because there's no way if they mandate Benavidez to fight fucking Better Biev, that fight's going to happen. No chance. My doubts about Crawford right now is his age. 38 years old is when fighters start to really decline. Well, especially when you're fighting much bigger fighters, right? That's the other thing. I don't like all of this simping Crawford is doing with Floyd. I don't know. What simping is he doing with Floyd? Oh my God, I'm back. I didn't realize I got blocked. You got blocked? I never blocked you. What I did was kick you out of the thing, but that happens all the time. Well, to be fair, Yard already had his shot. Yeah, and he fucking performed great. I mean, his performance against Better Biev was fucking a great fight. Fantastic, right? Let's be fair. He would be a tough opponent for fucking anybody in that division. They were getting ready to rob Better Biev until he knocked Yard out. Exactly. That's the way that fight was going to unfold. Bud maxed out at 154 plus age isn't on his side. Yeah, I mean, Crawford obviously is a great fighter, but when you're jumping up so many weight classes, especially when you're older, the thing I keep saying is I don't know what his legs are going to be like, right? Because his legs are going to be important, especially at 168 pounds against a slow-footed Canelo Alvarez. If you can do what Bivol did, control distance and range, put your punches together, he's got a much longer reach than Canelo. He could be effective. I mean, we saw lots of fighters be effective against Canelo early on and eventually wear down and get stopped. With no legs, that's what you got to feel is going to happen. I think if Benavidez fights those guys, it should be in America. Why? It doesn't sell in America. Why are you trying to protect David Benavidez? Go fight where it makes money. Fighting Yard and Smith in the UK makes and generates way more money than fighting Yard and Smith in Vegas is going to generate. PBC is going to put those fights on pay-per-view, and I don't care which of the fighters it is, Smith or Anthony Yard, and even fucking Bivol. You're not going to sell 150,000 pay-per-view buys, even though Bivol's undisputed. Americans fucking are just ethnocentric. They're not going to fucking be excited to watch the fight, right? And we know Benavidez isn't a big seller because we saw him with Plant, Andrade, two Americans, and both of those fights didn't do well. Morel, it's not a surprise a Cuban did bad because nobody in America supports Cuban fighters, so that's not a surprise. Neutral, obviously, would be Saudi Arabia, but David Benavidez can't fight in Saudi Arabia because he's building his market in Las Vegas. True Bud is a great fighter, but weight classes for a reason. Exactly. American fighters don't realize how beneficial it is to build a fan base in the UK. Well, if you build a fan base around the world, it's obviously beneficial. Like whenever people use this stupid mentality, I say, oh, okay, so you're a fan of Muhammad Ali, right? But then you don't know anything about Muhammad Ali. How many times did Ali fight outside the fucking US? Any of you guys right now, tell me, what do you think off the top of your head without looking at BoxRec? How many times did Ali fight outside of the US? Leave your comment. Put your number in. Number. Don't look. Don't cheat. Because I'm not looking. I'm also just going to guess off the top of my head. But let you guys say first. How many times do you think Muhammad Ali fought outside the US? And nobody was bigger than Ali. Ali and Frazier did 1 billion people worldwide. Jay says a bunch of time. I'm guessing 10. Drunk Irishman, an educated guess. You guys actually, I'm not surprised Drunk Irishman is up there, but J.A., you're right up there too. Anybody else? You think he fought that many times out of the States or far less? This is the biggest fighter in boxing history. I know people would like you to believe that that's Floyd Mayweather, but nobody fucking in Africa is chasing Floyd Mayweather down the road, fucking singing Ali Boumbaye or Floyd Mayweather is fucking TBE. I mean, come on. There's never been a billion people watching a live event with fucking Floyd Mayweather. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather did not have a billion people globally fucking watch that fight, right? Whether they were stealing it on streams or fucking paying for it on pay per view. There wasn't a billion fucking people. But Ali Frazier, billion fucking people globally watched that fight. A billion. But let's check it out. Only you two? Come on, people. There's 12 people in the chat. How many times do you think Ali fought outside the US? Because people say, oh, he's the A side. You don't have to go outside the US. I knew he needs to come to America 4 times, but Americans never have to go outside fucking America. Floyd never need to go outside of America. Andre Ward never need to go outside of America. But yet, what did Floyd do once he retired? Started fighting outside of America, trying to capitalize on that fucking foreign market because he understood that there was value in it. It just, he didn't want to do it when he was fighting because he fucking wanted everything under his control. But let's see. Man, I don't even know how to spell Muhammad Ali. Where's my book? Muhammad. I'm not fucking from a Muslim country. Muhammad. I got Ali. That part's easy. I will go to Vegas for the Nui fight. Nice. Look at you, fucking world traveler. Man, I wish I could go to Vegas to watch that. Dale Bailey, how many times did Ali fight outside of America? Is this Muhammad Ali, the guy with the Canadian flag? Fuck. Yes, I know. The greatest. The greatest. 56-5. So let's go. We will go from the beginning and then move forward. Oh, never mind. This is going to be fucking too much trouble. Literally, I need to fucking go through each fight this way. The Louisville Lip, man, he fought quite a few times in fucking Louisville. G. Moore. So, first time Henry Cooper went to the UK to fight Henry Cooper early in his career in 1963. Philippines, Munich, London, the list goes on. Yes, he fought like Sweden and a bunch of fucking real small countries, man. What's up, Jose? Keep up the good work. You too, brother. 10 times Dale Bailey says. So 1, and then, of course, listed in them, they're both in the States. Miami and fucking Maine. Can you imagine fighting fucking Liston in Maine? How does that even make sense? Who's going to watch a fight in Maine? Chevalo, the fight my dad went to watch in 1966 before I was born. And then he went and fought Henry Cooper again in the UK. So Larry traveled 2 times to fight Henry Cooper in the UK. And then Brian London in the UK. Fucking Mildenberg in Germany. So literally going and fighting guys in their backyard because that's how you get fucking a name for yourself. You go beat a motherfucker in their backyard. That's 5. And then Zurich, Switzerland. Lynn. Foster in Tokyo. 1972, Ali in Tokyo. Canada, George Chuvalo for a second time. 1972. Ireland against Alvin Lewis. That's 9. So we know it's definitely more than 10. Fucking Jakarta, Indonesia. He went to Jakarta, Indonesia. Indo-fucking-nesia for 10 fights. Frazier. Foreman, Zaire, Kensasa, 11. Fucking Kuala Lumpur against Joe Bugner, 12. Frazier in fucking Philippines, 13. Puerto Rico, 14. Germany again, 15. And the rest, America, 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 America. Oh, sorry. I mean, I know it's not really America, so we gotta say Bermuda. So 16 fucking times Muhammad Ali fought outside the US. 16 motherfucking times. But oh no, we shouldn't go outside of America to fight. That would be detrimental. Yeah, okay, David Benavidez. Fucking guy. Don't do what Ali did. Don't become the greatest. These clowns told Inui to come fight in the US, but they're not supporting the event because the opponent is not Tank. Delusional clowns. See, I heard missed things, right? I heard from somebody that True Schools supports that was talking, said that the fight was selling out well and potentially was going to do more than Frank Martin Tank Davis did. But then recently I just heard that the tickets weren't selling it well at all. So then I'm like, I can't be surprised. You know, Americans all saying they want Inui to come fucking to the States, and then he comes and they don't even support him, right? This mentality is what's killing boxing in America and around the world. That you just can't fucking support a sport. I live in fucking Taiwan. You support the sport that you love, regardless of where fucking the events happen. Stop. You are lying to get a reaction. Stop lying, kid. No, it's true. Apparently the tickets aren't selling well from what I just heard from a different person, but I can't remember who it was. Might be it. They might just be full of shit. The fact Inui is fighting on Sunday night, that means the viewership here in America won't be as big. Everyone trying to get ready for work. Oh, come on, David. Give me a break. If it's fucking on free TV on ESPN Sunday fucking night, you're not going to watch boxing Sunday night. What else are you fucking doing Sunday night? Literally, you're not doing anything else. Fucking watching Lawrence Welk? Like, what? Like, you know, Sunday's a great time to fucking watch boxing. I wish boxing was on Sunday night. Lack of promotion. Even though everywhere I go on social media, I see the poster all over the place. So I don't know about lack of promotion. Like, boxing fans know Inui is coming to America. You don't expect casual fans to pay for the tickets in Vegas. That should be Japanese fans. And actually, it's Sunday night after a Dodgers game. So literally, they're piggybacking it on ESPN. So it's going to be right after the Dodgers game. So I'm sure they're advertising it on Dodger fucking baseball as well. So I don't know if there's lack of promotion. JB should go and support his favorite fighter, Inui. He should. Exactly. John Boxing got some cash. He could easily fly to Vegas to watch his favorite fighter. That's why the Pitbull Tank fight didn't do huge numbers, I would imagine. This is Inui's 4th time outside Japan, yet these Inui haters think it's his first fight away from Japan. They don't fucking care. They're just looking for excuses to hate on him. It doesn't matter if he fought in America 10 fucking times. Here in America, boxing isn't the main sport anymore. Baseball is huge in America. Actually, baseball isn't. The number 1 baseball player is fucking Japanese in fucking Shohei Ohtani. The major sport in America is fucking football, which makes way more money than fucking hockey, baseball, and the NBA combined. The NFL, which personally, if I never watch another NFL game again, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. But that's how fucking much Americans love football. That's why, of course, Spence and Tank Davis tried to affiliate themselves with football to try to build up their brand and had some success. Will be better when Inui fights on Tuesday, though. Yeah, me too. Uh, I don't know why they always have fights on Saturday night. They don't always have fights on Saturday night. When I grew up, fights were Monday night fights, Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights, and then Saturday, Sunday was in the afternoon, once a month throughout the summer, not all year. That's the time you go out and get laid. Exactly. Always hating on American fighters. Richard Sampson, how am I hating on American fighters when literally we're talking about boxing? Once again, you being a fucking idiot. Like, the more you talk, the more you expose yourself. So keep it going, buddy. I'm giving Maxai a chance to beat Rocky Hernandez because he's more durable. That's a great fight, though. Apparently, you love that fight, David, because you're fucking more excited about that than other fights. Sean doesn't like black American fighters. Oh my God. Fucking Dale Bailey and Richard Sampson. Fucking two peas in a pot. Dale Bailey, since you've been here right now, what black American fighter have I said anything negative about? The only American fighter that I criticized was Benavidez because he doesn't want to fight in fucking Saudi Arabia. Yeah, we just proved if you want to be fucking the global fucking ambassador of the sport of boxing, it doesn't mean only fighting in America, because fucking Ali fought 15 fucking times outside, or 16 times outside of America. 16. But David Benavidez doesn't want to fight once in Saudi Arabia. I call bullshit. I'm a proud racist, but I made a lot of money. All of my black fighters kicking ass. Well, that's not true. Black boxing is not dominant like it once was, unfortunately. Now boxing is far more global than it's ever been. NBA viewership is going down. I wonder why, though. Well, because NBA doesn't support non-Americans. So Joker, fucking Giannis, fucking Luca, they're ethnically fucking not somebody that America wants to support. And America doesn't have any superstar of their own. LeBron is old and done. Curry is old and almost done. And the young guys don't want to fucking be stars because they're young, dumb, full of cum. So, they're busy fucking paying $1.2 million up front so they don't have to take care of their children. I'm not all that excited about the ramifications, but action-wise, there's no way that fight won't be good. Negative comments about Crawford saying Richard Sampson. When did I say that Crawford struggled with Madrimov? Like, once again, you just exposed that you're fucking mental. I never said he struggled with Madrimov. I said I understand why people say that Virgil beat him easier, because the style fights were completely different. Not once out of my mouth did I say Crawford struggled with Madrimov. The same thing I said about Madrimov losing is the same thing I said recently about fucking Farmer losing. You can't win if you don't throw punches. But you can twist that into me being negative to Crawford. Remember when Tyson went to Japan to fight Buster Douglas? It was a massive event. Huge. And that, I think, was the second time Tyson went to Japan. Terence Crawford is very dominant. Well, no, he wasn't very dominant against Madrimov. That's why he was getting criticized, because people are so used to him being dominant and knocking people out. I realize Cardenas is probably going to lose to Inui, but minus 8,000, that's crazy. He got power, and he's a good fighter. Never been stopped. Yeah, but that's just the hype, right? Obviously, Cardenas has never been in with elite level opponent, so they don't expect him to beat Inui. But he's dangerous whenever you got power and you're, tough, durable. You're a potential opponent that could give guys problems. And more or less, you look at like Lamont Roach. If you underestimate a guy, then it doesn't even have to be a great fighter. He can give you problems because you're just not focused on him. You're looking past him towards Jake Paul fights. right? And you do that, and then you end up exposing yourself. So that can happen to anybody. It has. It happens to all kinds of great fighters. Great athletes always fucking, take guys for granted and then get exposed. Think about when Duran went to England and fought fucking Lang, right? Who expected that guy to beat Duran? Nobody. But he did. But let's move forward, see what else we got to talk about. Here we go. So the Plant Charlo fight, obviously this fight, the two opponents are garbage. Not really the kind of opponents anyone's going to get excited about. Somebody was saying they wish they would have just did Plant Charlo. Obviously that would have been a fight people would have been more excited about. Now they're trying to build it up. But I did hear somebody, boxing commentator, say that they think the reason they didn't do that fight is because Charlo's been so unpredictable with his behavior. You don't want to set up a big pay-per-view fight and then have a fighter that potentially is going to pull out of it. But then my thing was, didn't Keith Thurman just pull out of a pay-per-view with fucking Tim Tszyu? So that shit happens. Didn't fucking Daniel Dubois just pull out of a Parker fight? So that's a risk, right, with boxing. You just got to make sure you have a good quality replacement opponent on the undercard so you can keep the big event going if something does happen. Now you put Charlo in with fucking Thomas fucking Lamana. If he goes in there and doesn't look good because mentally he's still fucking, mental, it's not going to help build up a Plant Charlo fight anyway. People are going to be like, man, this fight, Charlo looks like garbage. He don't look fucking like he's even got his shit together, right? So people aren't going to get excited, and they're definitely not going to want to pay $80 fucking to watch a one-sided beatdown. We expect Plant to beat his opponent, clearly, but with Charlo, who knows where Charlo is mentally right now? He's already had many fights and he's pulled out, right? He's delayed his career on multiple occasions, right? So at this point, I don't know what you can say about him, except that we don't know what to expect. And because of that, you put him on this double header, you could end up just shooting that fight in the head anyway. I made money off Tyson in the 80s, Roy in the 90s, Floyd, Terrence, and now Tank in the 90s. Gambling has been a bit of a hobby. Well, it's hard to make money off of any of the fighters you just announced because every single fight they're in, they're huge fucking favorites. So how did you make money off of them? Plant versus Charlo, $80. We're at Turkey, giving us undisputed fights for $25. I know, but Turkey's not American, and I got to wake up in the morning and watch fight cards in the afternoon. So I'd rather spend fucking $60 more to watch fucking a fight that at this point, I don't even know if it's going to be made. Don't get me wrong. I always said for the PBC, doing a Plant Charlo fight makes sense, right? Because the PBC loves to retread fighters. So at this point, Charlo and Plant, makes tons of sense. I said you do a double header with Charlo and Plant, and then have Spence fight Thurman on the as the main event. And that fight card would be well worth $80 just because of the name recognition. Even if the fighters are not at their best, if every fighter is not at their best, then it still potentially could be a fun fight card. And name recognition sells, right? Spence, Thurman, a fight people have wanted for years, finally gets made. Plant, Charlo, and the undercard, right? That shit fucking sells. But is it relevant? Are the fighters relevant? Not really. Only Plant is relevant. And we would rather see Plant fight a Munguia, a Berlanga, a fucking Pacheco, a Mimbili, somebody else ranked high, Iglesias, one of the other highly ranked 168-pound fighters. We'd rather not see fucking Spence and Thurman fight anybody. But if they're going to fight, why not fight each other? I'd rather see Thurman fight Spence than see him fight Tim Tszyu, in all honesty. Not a bad fight. I think Plant kicks Charlo's ass. Charlo is washed. Yeah, so it is a bad fight. Your statement contradicts itself. If it's not a bad fight, it wouldn't be fucking one fighter getting his ass washed because he's fucking past his best. right? If it's not competitive, it's not a good fight. But we understand the PBC, they're not marketing for good fights. They're marketing for name recognition and branding. So that's why they're going to use Charlo and Plant, just like they want to use Spence and Thurman. Whereas you got better fighters in those weight divisions, which could make way more exciting fights, but they're not going to sell. They're not nearly as marketable. You couldn't put them on pay-per-view for fucking $80 because nobody would pay for them. David Benavidez is one of them. Maybe you could do the winner of Charlo and Plant versus David Benavidez for a 175-pound vacant WBC title. Hey, that sounds like something the PBC will do. Then, of course, you have this fight, and now drama's popped up here, and people jumped all over it, fucking in America YouTube channel. Stevenson versus Zepeda. Apparently, Shakur Stevenson walked away from the fight because he's getting offered less money than he was told before. Apparently, he's getting less money than he got to fight Josh Padley. But if they overpay you and pay you, say, $10 million for a Josh Padley, a replacement opponent for Schofield, then are you necessarily going to get paid as much money to fight Zepeda? I don't know. Zepeda's clearly not on a high right now. This is kind of like the stock market, right? When a fighter is going up, his value is higher. When a fighter is going down, his value is lower. Right now, Zepeda's stock is dropping. So to fight him now, as opposed to fight him before the farmer fights, obviously they're different. Because now you look, oh, it's not nearly as marketable. Mexican fans are not nearly as fucking excited about Zepeda right now. The majority of people that thought Zepeda could beat Shakur is dwindling by the fucking day. So now most people feel Shakur is going to win the fight clearly. I hate that kid, Shakur Stevenson. Here's fucking Dale Bailey once again hating on a black fighter. You know, Sean, you dye your hair. I see. What hair do I dye? Isn't this all fucking gray? So where am I dyeing my hair? If all my fucking beard is gray, I don't understand what I'm dyeing. Because if I was going to dye something, it'd be right here, so that at least all the color would be fucking the same. Shakur should just take the turkey got from him up front and give him some back, depending on how the Zepeda fight sells. Well, the reality is you have a good relationship with Turkey. He's shown you that he's going to continue to give you great opportunities. So right now you go out and try to do whatever you're doing, which is you fucking, you tried to embarrass Bob Arum when they offered you a fucking great deal. You didn't want to sign with fucking Al Haymon, the PBC. You didn't fucking want to sign with fucking Eddie, or you didn't want to sign a fight deal with fucking Golden Boy, right? This kid wants all the freedom in the world, but then he expects people to pay him all this money. Yet you tell me the last time Shakur Stevenson was in a fucking entertaining fight. Sure, the Padley fight was entertaining in that he was fighting a fucking opponent that wasn't on his level and he was able to fucking hit him a lot. But that's not entertaining when you're fighting a opponent that's just not on your level and you beat him easily and there's no threat. When was the last time Shakur was in a fucking entertaining fight? If you don't make entertaining fights, you're not going to fucking be marketable. You're not going to make a lot of money. Right? So you could try to now fucking talk shit about Turki Al-Sheikh, but inevitably you're going to end up finding yourself with no promoters who want to work with you because you demand too much money. There's no great opponents because Tank Davis would be your biggest opponent, but somehow that fight can't get made. So I don't know. Somebody said that Tank Davis offered him a PBC offered him a one fight Tank Davis fight and he turned it down because he wanted multiple fight deal. Really? I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's the situation, that's a bad look because you jump at a fucking one fight deal with Tank Davis. Because if you beat him, what happens? You're guaranteed a fucking rematch, just like Lamont Roach is getting right now. I do not like Shakur at all. Shakur has 2 great wins. I can't take away from him Oscar Valdez and Jamal Herring. Neither are great wins because Jamal Herring and Valdez were not great fighters, right? To be fair, neither of them were elite fighters at 130 pounds. Jamal Herring got knocked out at 135 by nobody, came down to 130, beat nobody. And Oscar Valdez, right, he had 1 good win against Burchelt and then fucking has never won a fight again. Valdez wasn't on the pound for pound list. Fucking not on my fucking pound for pound list. How would you put fucking Oscar Valdez on the pound for pound list based on knocking out Burchelt, even though he already had losses on his resume? And then you move up and you knock out Burchelt in an exciting fight, and then you go on and get fucking destroyed by Navarrete. ESPN pound for pound list? I don't know what fucking ESPN's pound for pound list was. Show me that image, because I cannot fucking imagine anyone putting Oscar Valdez on a pound for pound list. Was Navarrete on ESPN's pound for pound list after he beat fucking Valdez? Because I don't think fucking Navarrete was ever a pound for pound fighter either. What fighter did Shakur beat to become a pound for pound fighter? Shakur, it's not that he beat a great fighter. What he did is he became a champion at 126. He moved to 130. He beat Herring, and then he unified with Valdez. And then he beat fucking Kansakow, even though obviously the weight issue ended up costing him his belts. And then he moved up to 135 and became a 3-weight world champion. That's why he became a pound for pound fighter. But that's why he's marginally on the list, and why now some people have him off the list and move some people like Ken Shiro above him, because Ken Shiro actually is doing more. Ken Shiro is a 2-weight unified champion. I need to check this out. I cannot imagine fucking Valdez ever being a pound for pound. Didn't he fucking get beat at 126? Oscar Valdez. (32-3), knocked out once. Okay. Sorry. Some reason I thought he lost at fucking 126. So beat Miguel Mariaga, Genesis Cervani, not bad win, Scott Quigg. So even though in the Scott Quigg fight, didn't he break his face? Then faced Adam Lopez, struggled with Adam Lopez, faced Jason Velez, and then had a career victory against Miguel Burchelt. Fought Robson Kansakow. Most people feel he lost the fight, but he got the decision, and then got fucking easily outboxed by Shakur. Fought Lopez again. Fought Navarrete, got fucking destroyed, even though he didn't get stopped. Then fought Liam Wilson, and then literally did get stopped by Navarrete in the next fight. Yeah. That presser was funny. Seems it was all staged, though. Why? What happened? What did Big Baby have to say? Big Baby better watch out, man, because fucking Fabio Wardley is going to break his face. Break his face. I'm happy to see that fight being made, but who's promoting that? Is that Turkey Al-Sheikh, or is that Eddie Hearn? Who's the promoter? Or is that fucking, what's his face? The old Englishman. What's his name? Fuck, I never can remember his name. And his promotional company. Whatever. You guys know who I mean. The Bob Arum of the UK. But yeah, this is what happened, of course, after that. And now everyone's jumping on it. Ego 886. I'm sure fucking True School Sports is going to be all over it as well. Turkey Al Sheikh accused of lowballing superstar boxer. Oh my God. These people are fucking so narrative driven, so in their feelings, man. It's ridiculous. Give me a fucking break. So Turkey promised me a number, and now he's going way back on that number that he promised me, Shakur Stevenson tells worldboxingnews.com. Oh, man. Shakur, isn't this the kind of negotiation should be doing with fucking Turkey and the promoters? Doing all this stuff out front. At this point, you don't have a contract with Turkey Al Sheikh. So he could just say, fuck yourself. Go fucking fight on that top ranked PBC fucking thing. And then see who you can fight. Right? Go do something like that. Because otherwise, no one cares about you, kid. Right now, your fucking stock market is dropped probably lower than it's ever been in your career. Truthfully, right? And I don't hate on Shakur. I think Shakur is a great fighter. But right now, if people are buying you, they're buying you real low. Real fucking low. Real low. Do you think Shakur is ducking Zepeda? I don't think he's ducking Zepeda. I think he's just fucking being money hungry against an opponent that unfortunately isn't looking good. So you're not going to make as much money fighting this version of Zepeda because he's not looking like a killer anymore, right? It's all weird. I don't know who's being honest. Hey, did Otenbek Komatov fight this weekend? Yes, he did. What the hell happened to that kid? Well, he got beat by Raymond Ford, right? And then he just came back and had his first fight this weekend on that great Kazakhstan card with Janibek and stopped the Filipino guy he was fighting in the 8th to 10th round. I can't remember. I just did a reading, but I can't remember exactly what round he stopped him. But he ended up stopping him late in that fight through accumulation. So he's got back on the horse. Now we have to see what goes on at that division right now. Like, let's take a quick peek since we're right here in boxing. Cruise down to 126 and see exactly what's going on. So right now, Kolmatov is number 3 for the WBA behind Bruce Carrington and the tough Argentinian kid, Mirko Cuela, for Nick Ball's title. Elijah Pierce is 4th. Figueroa is 5th. And then he's not ranked by the WBC. What belt did he fight for? Was that WBA? He's not ranked by the WBO. Fucking these rankings, eh? How does a kid drop like right off the face of the earth? Literally, he's only ranked by one ranking system, just by the WBA. Yet, didn't he fucking fight for the WBC title when he lost to Raymond Ford? So he lost to Raymond Ford, and all of a sudden he fucking fell from number 1, number 2 to not even top 15. Right? Yeah. So there he is now. Kolmatov, number 3. So it'll be interesting to see what Carrington does, because right now he's number 1 for Stephen Fulton's title. If Fulton leaves, then he's probably going to fight Castro, which is easy fucking work, to try to become the WBC champion for Castro. But, I want to see Kolmatov do something, but it's probably better that he gets another good opponent before jumping into a world title fight, because obviously he did not look very tough in that fight with Ford. Ford, who's not known as a big puncher, but yet the kid wilted late in the fight. Shakur is bluffing his hand against a flush. Who is going to fight and how much, if not Zepeda Turkey? Exactly. Right? Like, I mean, if you don't take Turkey's money, you already burnt your bridges with Top Rank, which means you're not getting Lomachenko, and we're not going to get fucking Keyshawn Davis. So that means PBC and Tank. But how likely is that? I mean, it should happen. That should be the obvious fucking play, right? But Is Tank going to go in that direction after having 2 tough fights with Lamont Roach? Then he's going to go fight another tough, slick fighter in Shakur in a fight that, how much does, like, leave in the comment section below, how much pay-per-view buys do you think Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson does in the current US market? Like, obviously, it's a huge fight, right? Legacy fight. A fight where, anybody could win. I think it's a real great matchup. Obviously, I rate both of the fighters, Shakur and Tank, very high. Both great fighters. Obviously, I prefer Tank Davis stylistically. I think he's way more entertaining. But I think Shakur is probably better. And Shakur probably is going to win that fight. But do you think that fight's going to do 500,000 pay-per-view buys in America? Do you think that is going to do 250? I mean, honestly, it should do more than Lamont Roach and Tank Davis did, right? It should easily do more than that. But does it even get to 500,000? Which, when you think about it, is real fucking low. Like, yeah, Drunk Irishman says around 400. And that's probably true. Good numbers. But, like, how much money are you going to generate with 400,000? And those guys going to want fucking career high paydays for that fight too, right? Like, let's just do the math. 400,000 times 80 equals 32 million. So 32 million from pay-per-view. What can they do in the box office? Did he make like 20 million on the gate? Am I mistaken? Or was it 10 million? But let's say 20, just to be exorbitant. So then 52 million. Both of them are going to want career high paydays. So, Shakur is going to expect close to 10 million. 5 million obviously is terrible money. And Tank Davis is going to expect a career high payday. Tank Davis could fight Shakur Stevenson, right? Or he could go fight fucking Jake Paul on Netflix. Where do you think Tank Davis is going to make more money? Shakur Stevenson, pay-per-view, or Jake Paul fighting on Netflix? Right? Like, I mean, those are the options for him. What's the options for Shakur? Tank Davis got some options. I thought Ultenbeck was beating for it. I thought so. And I thought they shouldn't have stopped the fight the way they did. I mean, if they stopped the fight because Kolmatov turned his back, how come they didn't stop the fight for Tank Davis turning his back? Ryder says Shakur acts like people are knocking down doors to watch him fight. He was the negotiating skills of a crackhead selling his car for gas money. I know. This is ultimately why promoters like Bob Arum and others and HBO prefer to work with other fighters. Even if they're not as marketable in America, they're not as delusional when it comes to paying, and they're not as delusional trying to work with for their expectations, right? Like, you can get a lot of fighters coming to America, and they're not going to be asking for these exorbitant fucking payments for fighting mediocre opposition, right? It's just not going to happen. I mean, Bivol and Better BF each made $10 million in an undisputed unification fucking rematch. So why would Tank Davis and Shakur make more than $10 million on their fight? Is it bigger? No. Is it more of a legacy fight? No. Is it for more belts and more fame? No. I mean, is it as good, if not better? Stylistically, it could be worse, but obviously for American market, it has more name recognition. But as far as legacy, the winner of Tank Davis versus fucking Shakur is no better or fucking ranked higher pound for pound than the winner of Bivol and Better Biev on the pound for pound list, right? They both would be top 5. So obviously both fights are great. Tank stock was taking a bit of a hit after the Roach fight, but a Shakur fight still sells more than a Frank Martin, Hector Garcia, etc. But yeah, it ain't cracking 500,000 buys. Yeah. Tank versus Shakur would generate more money than Bivol, Better BF in my opinion. Maybe it would, just because of the American market, right? Even though I think what they say about the fights outside of in Saudi Arabia, I think a lot of that's just hate, right? I don't buy into that at all because, you know, Turki Al Sheikh knew how much money they made in the first fight. They know what's going on. Like literally, this fight card going on in New York, they say, well, tickets are like given away. You can't buy tickets. They're being given to people, right? So they're not generating any money from seats. And obviously they're not going to generate that much money off of DAZN. But yet they're in conjunction with fucking that video game. Marketing, right? You know, people have such short-sighted fucking concepts of things. You know, I don't know why you would hope that Turki Al Sheikh would be not successful. It's like I'm not hoping the PBC goes out of business. I just hope the PBC signs with DAZN, and then I get to watch all these promoters fight on the same platform. DAZN, PBC, Top Rank, Golden Boy, Matchroom, fucking top rank, fucking, you know, Frank Warren, you know, all of these guys on DAZN. That's what I hope. So that I have to buy one app and I can watch all boxing on it. Means every weekend I got boxing. They could fucking split the schedule so you don't have to fucking double up and fucking eat into other people's fights, right? It's beautiful, beautiful. But, you know, that makes too much sense as a boxing fan. I'd rather fucking squabble about people making money and who's being profitable as if fucking it matters to me. The only reason I'm disappointed if fights aren't being profitable, it means potentially we might not get fights. That's the only thing that bothers me. And spending $80 on fucking pay-per-views is obviously not a fucking platform that works. If it did, everybody would be doing it. They're losing money on each card. Are they losing money? I haven't seen any spreadsheet where Turki Al Sheikh and the people involved are talking about losing money. That's why Turkey's cutting costs now, because the overhead just wants him to keep losing money. Once again, that's all speculation. Because he's not paying Shakur what he offered him before, doesn't mean they're cutting costs. Obviously, we don't know the whole fucking scheme and what's going on. And as far as the money that Turki Al Sheikh has, it's so much deeper than the PBC had when they had $500 million. Yet people didn't have the same energy with them. Some people did. But literally, they were making bullshit fights. Not competitive fights. Showcase fights. All with no pay-per-view. But all for what? All so they could build guys' names up so they would eventually do only pay-per-view. Right? Like people... The last thing I worry about is how much money these fights generate. I paid for the fucking DAZN fight card with Turki Al Sheikh. And if you can pay for it globally, I can't imagine why you're making less money than you would if you could only fucking have it in America. Because 7 billion people is far bigger than 350 million. So, you know, it's the same thing people said about DAZN initially, that DAZN's losing money and DAZN was going to go out of fucking business. Is DAZN fucking going out of business? I mean, DAZN does not look fucking anywhere close to going out of business. But it's the same thing I said when people were fucking saying this. This is the same situation Netflix went through when they first opened as well. And they also went through ups and downs until they fucking built their market, right? And that's what DAZN is doing. And obviously that's what Turki Al Sheikh is doing as well right now. But we'll see. I hope he keeps fucking putting money into the sport and making big fight cards and making fights that we wouldn't get otherwise, except for Turki Al Sheikh. So let's hope. And I wonder if he's still going to pay Beterbiev and Bivol $10 million to fucking fight each other. I bet he will. PBC is in $1 million in debt. 1 billion. 1 billion in debt. That's money fucking you're never going to get back. Because how are they going to generate money when they're doing 5 fight cards a year? Right? That's why Al Heyman is fucking gone now. And DeCubis is the one that people are talking to, right? Al Heyman's fucking, he's not even fucking in the picture anymore. Now it's Luis de Cuba. But, low blowing Shakur seems suspicious. Well, of course, if you just want to be negative, you're going to say something is suspicious. But why would you believe anything fucking Shakur is saying right now? I prefer to wait to see how things unfold before making fucking huge statements based on fucking limited information. But here we go. We don't want to fucking not promote this fight because it's happening soon. Sunday, May 4th in Vegas, Anui versus Cardenas, the monster, back in America. Roar. Oh, from what I heard, Anui and his team are very pissed off because they feel the promotion is not that good. But of course, this is speculation. I haven't heard Anui say anything like that. I haven't seen him tweet anything on his X channel saying anything of this nature. So what's up, Jaime? So I can't say if it's true or not. We will find out at the end of the day how it works out. But I'm just glad that Anui's staying busy. I'm excited to see him get in there and fight Cardenas. I'm excited to see him fight fucking MJ in September. And I hope we can get him fighting Nick Ball in Saudi Arabia in December on a fucking super card. That would be fucking great. PBC only has Tank, to be honest, and I think Canelo's now with Turkey. And Tank doesn't like to take big fights, so that debt ain't going down soon. And he's going to retire. Once Tank retires, the PBC is going to be left with David Benavidez. I'd rather watch baseball than this Inui fight. Why? If you're a boxing fan, why would you rather watch baseball than Inui? It's guaranteed to be a sensational fight. See, and this is the thing with Dale Bailey, which I don't understand his stupidity. Dale is older than me. So he grew up like I did, watching boxing Saturday and Sunday afternoons on ABC, NBC, and CBS, right? And we had great fighters. You had the fucking 1984 Olympic team, fucking a slew of great American fighters. And we got to see them from their first fucking debut until winning world titles and going on in their careers. And we got to see these kind of guys, Pernell Whitakers and many others, fight mediocre fucking opponents consistently. No one fucking ever was complaining that we got to see boxing on Saturday and Sunday afternoon and got to see a potential superstar fight somebody. We did not give a fuck who they were fighting. We were just excited that these guys were fighting and we got to see them fight, right? Now, Dale Bailey, who's as old as I am, is sitting here going, I'd rather watch baseball than watch Inui fight Cardenas. Cardenas, who's an aggressive, come-forward Mexican fighter with power that's going to bring the fight to Inui, which potentially is going to tell us we're going to get what? A fucking sensational fucking fight. Hagler Hearns for 3 or 4 rounds until fucking someone gets knocked out. Probably Cardenas. But you don't want to see that? But you're a boxing fan. Yeah, I don't get it. That shit don't sound right to me. Inui is my number 1 pound-for-pound fighter. Crawford is 2. I ain't mad at all. I wouldn't like to see Inui pick Nick Ball apart. You wouldn't like to see him pick Nick Ball apart? Why? To become a 5-weight world champion? I'd love it. Usyk, Inui, Crawford, 3 dangerous killers in boxing. Yo, Nordic Warrior, what's up? God bless. In order to be successful in negotiations, your product service must be needed or wanted first. If you want to sell yourself and have no other offers, you can't be greedy or you're going to sit on the shelf. Exactly. And that's what's happened to a lot of fighters, right? They're just not that marketable. They fucking expect something that they don't fucking bring in and they find themselves not doing shit. Yep, Usyk, Inui, 1 and 2 right now. If Inui was American, different story. Well, right, Pacquiao wasn't American. He crossed over. Crawford is no longer dangerous. He's 37 now. He's still dangerous until he's proven not. Crawford in his real weight division now. Oh, listen to you. In his real weight division. Come on, man. You know he's not a fucking 168 pounder. A middleweight, probably not. 154, we already saw him at that weight. And he, you know, looked good, but didn't look destructive and dominant. Sean, you need to work on your reading if you're a teacher. I said, I would like to see. I don't know if I saw that. I'm pretty sure I say wouldn't. Yeah, read it again, buddy. I wouldn't like to see. Everybody can see it. Here, let me fucking put it for everyone. So I need to work on my English reading. I wouldn't like to see Anui pick Nick Ball apart. So you might want to work on your fucking spelling. Because somebody looks fucking ridiculous right now. I don't really care about smaller fighters. Sorry, sign me up for Bivol Benavidez fight. You don't like small fighters. So you didn't like Barrera, Morales, right? Like fucking boxing fans. Terence Crawford is still dangerous. That's why Madrimov did not throw punches. Exactly. We already talked about that. There was a reason why Madrimov kept his fucking hands on the shelf, because he was afraid to open up. Your comment says wouldn't. It was a mistake on your part. I'm on an iPhone. The typing is tricky. Yeah, so then don't be a fucking dickhead, right? Because now you kind of expose yourself. You're trying to fucking slate me, but who's the guy that fucking comes off looking bad? The guy right here on the screen for everyone to see. Next time, maybe reread your comment. Reading glasses, I know you're old. Crawford, a weight bully, but Van Boy's over Josh Taylor, who's probably the same size, if not bigger than Crawford, and has been fighting at 140 his whole career. Well, there's no way that Josh Taylor's as big as Terence Crawford, because he's not very wide across the shoulders. But I do agree that he should be at 147 right now, because there's opportunity and money at 147. So if he goes up there, you got fucking Haney, Ryan, Teo, Boots, Howard, Norman, Barrios, right? You know, fucking there's a bunch of people at that division now. You owe Sean an apology, though. That was rude. Exactly, right? Now you have to prove either of those statements, both of which are false. Think again. Sean, I'm on an iPhone. It was a typo. Like your bias is always a typo. See? Now you're doubling down. You fucking said something rude to me. We're exposed that you were wrong. And now what do? You double down on it. I didn't fucking say anything to you. You the one said something to me. And now you're double downing on being an asshole. And you wonder why I fucking kicked you off the fucking chat before. Taylor is way bigger than Crawford, actually. He's not broad across the shoulders, though. Taller. But Jeff Horn was a middleweight. At welterweight, dude was massive. I wasn't wrong about anything. You were wrong because you accused me of reading your statement incorrectly, even though you wrote it fucking incorrectly. So, yeah, you were wrong. So, have I ever used the term weight bully in my life? Are you asking me or J.A.? You kicked me off the chat because I spoke on your precious overhyped favorite Triple G. No, it wasn't that. Speaking about somebody is not a big deal. But when we consistently are talking about a different topic and you're fucking going off on a rant that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, that's why you got kicked off. If you want to talk about these topic, you can go on the channel that's talking about that. When we're talking about Canelo Alvarez fighting fucking William Skull, we don't need fucking somebody in the chat pushing their fucking trolling behavior. If you don't want to fucking have the conversation, you can leave. If you don't like the conversation we're having, you don't need to stay here. If you want to talk about what we're talking about, you're free to fucking join in, right? That's fair. My dream is to see Lomachenko kick Shakur Stevens' ass. I would have liked to see that, but I prefer to see Lomachenko tank. Yeah. I never use team weight bully because I don't believe in it. Guy is projecting. Yeah. If a guy can make weight, a guy can make weight. I can't trash Shakur because he has done what is expected of him, calling out the best. Yeah. My only problem with Shakur is that he makes himself look bad because he talks so tough and then goes out there and underperforms and then gets pissed off because people are critical of his performance. But yet you're talking mad hype about how you're going to destroy a motherfucker. And then you go out there and you fight 12 boring ass rounds that look like fucking you're babysitting a motherfucker. Right. And then you wonder why people are disappointed and critical. That's fucking why. Sports fans want action. And if you're going to talk fucking a lot, then you should deliver, right? If you don't deliver, then people are going to be critical of you. The problem with these new age athletes, especially American athletes primarily, they're fucking pampered, fucking, fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Pampered something or others, but yeah. These guys, man. Good morning. What's up, Jag? Shakur is a good fighter, but not entertaining. He doesn't know the difference and is valuing himself too much. It's two different things. He wants over MSRP new car prices for a highly used car. Making weight shortens your lifespan and weakens a fighter. That's true. Shakur does what he can to win. This is boxing, not a street fight. No, Shakur could do things to be more effective and more entertaining. If you don't understand that, you're the same as people that were acting like Rigo should be fucking one of the biggest pay-per-view stars in boxing. No, Rigo was never going to be a fucking pay-per-view star because he didn't want to risk anything. If you don't want to risk anything, right, then fans aren't going to pay anything. This is what boxing is. Great fighters risk something. And because they risked something, people respected them. And because they respected them, they fucking paid for them and they fucking supported them. If you don't want to risk anything, people are not going to fucking take you serious. They know that you're fucking scared, even though it's not scared, but you just don't want to risk. You're being too fucking tentative. You're not giving fans what they want, which doesn't mean getting knocked out and beaten up, but it means put the fucking pedal to the metal, man. Do something. Don't be a fucking wuss. Thank you, Jag. You're a prince among men. Crawford is the king of dehydration clauses and loaded gloves. That's why they project. That also changed the subject to weight bullying. Crawford? Rehydration clauses? Really? I don't know if I've ever heard Crawford put a rehydration clause on anybody. Tank scares me. I know he'll catch Vasily Lomachenko. I'd rather see Lomachenko fight Tank last. I don't want Vasily to get knocked out. Yeah, I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid. Entitled. There you go. Thank you very much. Simpatico. Shakur is simply a bum, not worth watching or talking about. Well, he's not a bum. He's a super skilled fighter, right? One of the best fighters in boxing. Elite. But if you're not willing to risk anything, don't be surprised that fans don't fucking love and support you, right? People fucking love and support someone that puts it on the fucking line. Not just fucking lip service. Lip service ain't going to make anyone love you. Ali put out lip service and then he went out and fucking delivered, right? So even if you hated him, you fucking respected him. But Shakur ain't doing that shit. It's just lip service right now. And now moaning and groaning because he's not getting paid fucking more money. Okay. If Shakur changes his style and loses, you will be the first one to say, why did he change his style? I don't say he changed his style. Throwing combination punching is not changing your style. It's just risking something. You can still be super defensive counterpuncher, but when you see the opening, you fucking let your hands go. And then you get out and you fucking reset and get in your defensive posture once again. But if you're going to throw one shot here and one shot there, hold, move, nothing happens, you're going to be Rigo. And no one's going to fucking like you. No one's going to pay for you. Nobody's going to give a fuck about you. If that's what you want, do it. But don't fucking cry and moan when people don't fucking want to watch you fight. People will say, oh, yeah, he's great, but fucking he's boring. Two things can be true. You can be great and you can be fucking boring. Arslan Lara is great. And for the majority of his career, he was boring. But after the Hurd fight, what did people say about him? People praised him for that fight. Praised him because he fucking risked something, right? No risk, no reward. That's fucking the adage, man. And that's true for life. Teo clowned Shakur for stopping Padley in 6. But Teo forgot that he almost went split with Steve Claggett, a guy with 7 losses. Yeah, I mean, Teo is the last person that should talk. Him fucking calling out Bud Crawford, it's like, oh, come on, dude, stop. You're just fucking clout chasing off of Canelo, right? Because you had plenty of opportunities to do it yourself, and you're not doing fucking anything. Look at Tank, for example. One real fight and got completely embarrassed. A marrow bum. Pitbull fights with muscle and not brains, and look how that turned out for him. No one said to fucking be a moron out there. There's a difference. But in saying that, Tank Davis, after he knocked out Rolly Romero, was one of the most fucking talked about fighters in boxing. You do realize that, right? And he's still fucking relevant, even though he came off of an embarrassing loss to Rayo. Those fans know what they're talking about. They love when the 4 Kings fought hard. Fart hard. And now they have no one that fights like that. Stop calling Shakira elite. He's not. Dale, you've been watching boxing for too long to be so casual. He should be paying people to watch him fight. Well, I don't know if it's that extent, but I do understand this, the thought behind it. Shakur is a pure boxer. The sport is boxing, not fighting. This is not amateur boxing, Richard Sampson. This is pro boxing. If you want to make fucking big money in boxing, you can be a pure boxer, but you're not going to fucking get rich. You're not going to be fucking the #1 pay-per-view star in boxing. You're not going to be fucking the guy everyone pays to watch. That's fine. Be a pure boxer, but don't fucking cry when you're not making as much money as other fighters like Canelo or Tank or others. Because if you want to be a pure boxer, do it. No one's telling you to change, but don't fucking moan and groan and fucking expect something that you don't fucking deserve, right? It's like the WNBA players fucking expecting to get played like NBA players. Sure, you're basketball players and you're good for women, but you're fucking women. Nobody watches you. And because nobody watches you, you don't fucking generate as much money, so you don't make as much money. It's the same with fucking Shakur. Fucking, if you don't generate money, don't fucking expect to get paid the same as fucking the other guys. Again, this is boxing, not brawling, not fighting. It's different. Again, Richard Sampson, I guess you just don't understand common fucking sense. He is one of the best active boxers today, but it doesn't mean people want to pay to watch him, right? Aja Wilson is the best women's basketball player in the world. The best. #1. Yet fucking nobody on this page would fucking spend $1 to watch her play fucking basketball. But she's the best in the world. Shakur can't say he's the best. Bruce, what's up? On point about time people calling out Shakur, NyQuil Stevenson for his sleepy and boring performance. And I ain't hating. There's some haters here that are hating on him. I'm just fucking being honest and telling you the same thing I said about fucking Rico, right? It's the same situation. My concern is not the money these boxers make. I don't care about their wallets. Shakur is doing what a boxer does, and that's hit and not get hit. And then he's fucking moaning and groaning that he's not getting paid more money. That's the thing you failed to fucking discuss. Hollow Ninja, thank you very much. That's the thing. If Josh Padley, an electrician, a guy working an everyday job like me and you, can take the Shakur fight on short notice after leaving his day job, what is the excuse for Tank LDBC? Exactly. right? Like that's what everyday people expect. They expect fucking you to risk something, Padley risked something and got rewarded. That's the fucking fight of his career. Even in a loss, when he's retired, sitting back, talking to the grandkids, that's the fucking fight card he's going to be talking about. How he was part of one of the biggest fight cards in boxing history, fighting one of the most skilled fighters in boxing during his era, a silver medalist. This is prize fighting, and it's meant for entertainment where your worth is based off of attraction, not skills. Yeah, Ryder, I don't understand why these people don't fucking understand that. Yet people will fucking talk about, oh, he's getting underpaid. He's getting underpaid. What do you mean he's getting underpaid? You're getting paid your worth. If you were worth more, you get paid more. That's the way it is, right? There's a reason why a guy who wasn't as good as Shakur, Arturo Gatti, made way more money than fucking Shakur because he was way more entertaining and people wanted to watch him fight. Nordic Warrior is the same guy that said Canelo is a D-level fighter. Can't take him serious. No one cares about female basketball. Only you do, apparently. You're proving my point, Richard, so keep it up. You keep talking about Shakur moaning and groaning, but doesn't sound like boxing talk to me. See, once again, Richard fucking in his emotions when fucking he can't win a debate. It totally is boxing talk. Shakur is moaning and groaning because he's not getting paid as much money as he thinks he should, right? People in the chat say he's boring as fuck, he's garbage, nobody wants to watch him. This is telling you what people think about Shakur, right? If people feel this way about you, they're not going to pay to watch you fight. You don't hear these people saying that about Tank Davis, right? Call the boxing voice in debate. Knockout Boxing got cooked on the info channel, the IBFP. I heard that. I saw some of it. But you can't argue with guys like him because he's brainwashed. It's like when they said call out Tank Davis and he said no. Yeah, we know you won't because your whole fucking channel is dedicated to fucking Tank Davis. You're one of the most biased fucking fanboy channels on YouTube. So anything you say, why would anyone listen to it? Because we know you're fucking biased. You're literally fucking on your knees for Tank Davis, like fucking Ellie Setback. I mean, if you want to do that to generate money on your channel, okay. You're a man, you can do what you want. But it's a bad fucking look. That's all I'm saying. You're free to do whatever you want. America's a free country. But I'm fucking just as free to fucking criticize you for fucking getting on your knees. Chisora makes hella money because he's awesome. Exactly. The guy's got double-digit losses and he fucking can't quit boxing because of how much money he makes, right? He literally can't fucking walk away from it. Shakur is making what he's worth, I agree, but he doesn't have to change his style for you. I'm not saying to change his style. I just say a few adjustments here and there, which people make in your career. Floyd changed his style from the beginning to the end. Everyone changes their style. So changing your style is not a bad thing. Throwing punches in combination, it's far from the fucking worst thing he could do, but it'd make him way more fucking entertaining. Gatti was a punching bag, and Gatti fucking was a millionaire. So what's your point? Gatti proves my point. You criticizing Gatti doesn't prove your point. It proves my point, but thank you. Shakur versus Nakatile and Dos Santos were lame. Terrible fights, right? Especially Shakur de los Santos, because Shakur was talking so much on social media for people to go watch that fight, only to walk away going, fuck me. That was literally the worst fight I've seen since fucking the Rigo fight that he fought against fucking the Filipino guy, which was one of the worst fights fucking ever as well. Like, unfortunately for Rigo, he's in two of the worst fights in boxing history, right? Francis Bartholomew and Easter Jr. and one or the other. And then Shakur Stevenson versus fucking Nakatila and De Los Santos are two others. Being entertaining isn't the end all be all. Shakur does better numbers in terms of ticket sales and ESPN live view numbers than Navarrete and others who are more action style fighters. Well, yes, there's obviously more to it, but he's never going to grow to be a superstar in the sport unless he starts putting out performances. Chisora has way too many losses to praise him. No, Chisora is fucking making shitloads of cash, proving our point. I'm here for boxing, not what these boxers make. You're not here for boxing. You're here to troll. So stop. Like literally, when one of the fucking things here is news from Turkey Al Sheikh, and I bet you love listening to fucking other channels shit on it. So, it is what it is. You. It's this boxing channel. Oh, Richard. Some people just don't know when to shut the fuck up. Right? Like, if you continuously come here and fucking act like an asshole, you're going to get timed out. Right? Don't fucking cry and moan about it. Like, you purposely fucking know what's going to happen. And on my channel, compared to fucking all these other channels, you can express yourself for the most part. Other channels, after you said one comment, you'd be fucking out the door. I'm pretty patient, but at a certain point, go fuck yourself. Like, you're fucking involved in the conversation. One of the fucking mouthier motherfuckers actually involved in the conversation. But because your fucking whole narrative is being exposed, now you just want to fucking be an idiot. And yes, I know you're listening. And this isn't because you're winning a debate. It's because you won't shut the fuck up. The only good thing I can say about you today, at least you weren't talking about Gennady Golovkin, who fucking obviously wasn't part of the conversation. Jake Paul is entertaining, and look at all the money he's making and only has a handful of fights. Well, Jake Paul, let's be honest. Jake Paul, and as terrible as this is literally the face of American boxing. Right? Jake Paul is the face of American boxing. So it shows you the state of boxing in America, that Jake Paul is literally the face of boxing. The fact that fucking Canelo Alvarez was this close to fucking fighting him. Tank Davis would have fought him if he would have fucking beat Lamont Roach, right? Like, even legitimate fucking boxers, pay-per-view boxers that have their own fucking fan bases are so close and so willing to actually fucking fight Jake Paul. He's the face of boxing, and Damon Wester fucking knows it. Look at Damon coming here fucking being an asshole. Literally, Damon, you've been here watching this whole time, and now you're just going to come in to fucking talk out your ass. Damon, I can fucking kick you out too, and you can go fucking hang out at John Boxing's channel. Go fucking do one of John Boxing's lives, and then you can fucking talk all kinds of shit. Oh, sorry, John doesn't do lives. Oh, okay. If you timed out on Sean's channel, you really were ignorant. Even Sean hates his limits. Well, that's the only true thing you ever said, Damon. True Jake Paul, only American boxer to make it on Forbes list. Yeah. And I don't say this because I'm hating on fucking Haney, Tank, Shakur, fucking any American fighters. I wish the American fighters were selling so many pay-per-views, making so much money, getting so much attention on ESPN and on sports channels that everybody was talking about boxing. I fucking wish. First of all, my channel would be getting way more attention. So it'd be great for my channel, but also it'd be great for boxing. I don't want to see any boxer do terrible pay-per-view sales. I'm not there fucking gloating going, oh, yes, these pay-per-view numbers are terrible. That's not me. Some channels are doing that, but not me. I say, Jake Paul's being very successful. What he's doing is good for boxing because he's got lots of boxers. He's helping women boxing preferably or preferentially, mostly, which, doesn't make me worry too much, but it is what it is. What's up, Gary? All I can say is if boxing is thriving, I'm happy. If boxing is struggling, how's that a fucking good thing? I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's terrible. But, unlike some people that wish the worst on everybody else, remember all these people that moaned and groaned and cried because people were gleeful that Showtime went out of business. The irony is these same motherfuckers were the ones praising and fucking in glee when fucking HBO went out of business, right? These were the same people shitting all over DAZN, calling it Dead Zone, saying that Eddie Hearn would never be successful in America. Now the same people shitting all over Turkey El Sheikh and praising fucking the PBC that did 5 fight cards in 2024. I don't think that was a good thing. I praised the PBC in 2023 when they had great fight cards and were fucking really moving the needle. Right? If you're making fights, I'm going to fucking be happy about it. $80 pay-per-view, okay, you know, nobody's happy about that, but it is what it is. What I hate about Jake Paul is he wants to pretend he is a real boxer, but fights 55-year-old boxers and now wants to fight a 135-pounder. He wanted to fight Canelo. Canelo's a legitimate fucking 168-pounder, right? So you got to give it to him. I mean, who would expect Jake Paul to step in the ring with Canelo Alvarez? Yes, Tank Davis, he's a bit of a midget compared to Jake Paul. So that fight, even fucking during the weigh-in, can you imagine? That shit's going to look fucking real weird, man. Like, it's going to look like he's fighting his son or his fucking little nephew or something. That just aesthetically is a bad look. I'd prefer if he was going to fight like Julio Cesar Chavez, even though obviously he's irrelevant right now, but, you know, fight Andre Ward. You know, Andre Ward would love the money to fight Jake Paul. I just don't know if Andre Ward's got enough name recognition that Jake Paul would want to fight him. Nestor from Boxing Voice compares Bud versus Canelo to Jake Paul versus Canelo. How? Terence Crawford is an actual fighter who fights boxers. Well, if we want to be honest, Canelo Alvarez, Jake Paul does way bigger numbers. Because Jake Paul is the face of American boxing. But the boxing fight with legacy is obviously Bud Crawford. Crawford-Canelo is a historical fight. Yes, I know Bud Crawford's putting himself in an awkward position, but it's still a fucking historical fight. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez, that's only a historical fight if Jake Paul beats Canelo Alvarez. And then it's historical for all the fucking wrong reasons. And the worst thing that could happen to boxing is Jake Paul beating fucking Canelo Alvarez. Oh my God, can you imagine? What a travesty. What a disaster. I don't care how much money these dudes make. Just give me good service. When is the last time you cared about how much money your internet provider makes or is worth? Who cares? Just give me my internet. Exactly. The most frustrating thing is when you're trying to fucking watch something on the internet or fucking any kind of technology and it doesn't work. Because I'm paying for service. And service means when I want something, I want it to fucking work. Like that. I don't want to fucking have to Jerry fucking can something, fucking call someone, fucking do something. No. I'm paying for a service. Give me a fucking service. For sports, I'm paying to watch NBA. Some games are going to be good. Some games are going to be shit. That's the nature of the fucking sport. Baseball, football, hockey, fucking every sport. English Premier League. Liverpool just lost to Fulham last night, 3-2, right? That's what happens, right? But I still want to fucking get what I'm fucking paying for, which means deliver fucking the event. I want boxing. I'm happy with boxing. Give it to me. I'm not going to complain about it. I want it. Life is way better now than it was when I was young. People just don't fucking appreciate it. Come on, Sean. Everyone wants to fight Canelo. I want to see Canelo, and I am the size of a super lightweight. Yeah, of course, because we want the money too. Even though I don't know if we'll generate 10 million, but I'd be happy with 500,000. If Canelo would knock me out fucking in 1 or 2 rounds and I get paid $500,000, that would be pretty good. I'd be pretty excited with it. I could say that that's a career high payday. And I could fucking say to my grandkids, okay, not my grandkids, my sister's grandkids, that yeah, I got knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. You probably watched it on YouTube, and now it's probably a meme. I've been hearing from YouTubers of the PBC and Top Rank merger. Is there any truth to it? Yeah, Gary, that's what's being discussed, right? But then the question is, how much legitimacy to it? Because we know the PBC historically loses every time they face a top rank fighter. So if you knew that was pretty much the norm, how much would you really want to work with top rank? Especially if you're trying to build up fighters for pay-per-views. And then you're going to fight a top rank fighter, get beat, and then all that momentum is going to be fucking gone. But there's some fights, obviously, that make sense, right? Like what were they talking about? Fulton moving up to face O'Shaquie Foster. It's not a big fight, but that's a potential fight. What else were they talking about? Why does it escape me fucking now? Now I can't even remember. There was quite a few fights that made sense, like Janibek versus fucking Carlos Adames, right? You know, Adames is not a big fucking seller. He's not a superstar. He's never going to be a pay-per-view fighter. So you could do that fight. But we will see. We will see how much truth there is to it. Damon says Jake Paul getting in the ring with Ward would be Paul's career bucket list. Jake wouldn't fight him. He's too young, 41. Ward would beat his ass. Maybe, but that's the kind of fight that potentially could do huge numbers on Netflix and put millions of dollars in Jake Paul's fucking pockets. Jake Paul is going to continue to fucking promote, right? Even if he no longer fights. Obviously, that's the end goal. Build up MVP promotions to the point where when he steps back, he can still promote boxing and still get paid millions of dollars to have other people fight. So if the end game is fighting Ward, making millions of dollars and legitimizing your promotional company, that might be worthwhile. Was it Chris Rock or who? Chris Rock, what? Remember the old bit, would you take $1 million to fight Mike Tyson? It might be Chris Rock, but I think fucking everybody has said that about somebody at one point in their life. Yes, I would definitely take $1 million to fight fucking Mike Tyson. Even though I hope it's tax-free, because otherwise it's only $500,000. Will you be able to live for the Boots fight? Go live next weekend, Sean? I'm there. I should be able to go live. It should be on DAZN, right? Because Boots is now part of what's his face? Eddie Hearn's promotion on DAZN. So if it's on DAZN, I will be there. Is it next weekend? We should be able to see if it's on DAZN right now and if they're going to make me pay money or what's the situation. Let's see. You know, it's amazing fucking the technology we have now when it works. Because I remember when I was a kid and literally we had fucking like 6 fucking channels on TV. 6 fucking channels. And black and white TV. I remember my house was the first house on the block that got a color TV. I can see Wilder and Jake Paul. Yeah, but that's a much more dangerous fight. But yeah, it's on Zone. The Zone. Schedule. I just wish the Zone was fucking a little more better at giving us stuff. Press conference. There we are. Weigh in. And then Sunday my time. Saturday yours. Huh? So you show the fight weigh in Saturday. Friday, press conference. Sunday, it might not be on fucking DAZN in Taiwan. Oh, thank God. There it is. It was just a bunch of bullshit. Literally, I got fucking the American Rodeo Championship round. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Ah, there it is. 8 o'clock. Yep. I'm going live. Watch the preview. I don't need to watch the preview. I'm just happy the fight is on. Let's do it. Is the Band versus Eubanks pay-per-view? It is pay-per-view. Yeah. I heard in America $25 for Ben versus Eubanks. When is that fight? I'm driving, so my spelling is all messed up. The Zone now has chatting while you watch the fight. No, I know. They got what's his face doing that showbiz the adult and shit. It's like, man, I can't stand listening to fucking showbiz. He's like, I like Ring IQ, but I can't listen to Ring IQ's lives because fucking literally they don't talk about the fights. So I lose interest really quick. I was talking so much shit last week. I don't think Boots wins. April 26th. You don't think Boots wins? Shakur should take that lowball offer from Oscar and get the name on his resume. He needs the fight too badly to silence the critics. Exactly. And what's the lowball fucking fight? Like, because he didn't say it from Oscar. He said it was from maybe Oscar offered him, and it's lower than what Turkey offered him. So that's what he's moaning about. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but you're not helping your fucking career by being a whingy cunt who just got a fucking big payday to fight some fucking plumber. Okay, we go back. 26. Yes, it doesn't go that far. Only goes to the 21st. But I did hear it was going to be like $25. I'm not sure what it'll be in Taiwan. So maybe 800 NT. So yeah, probably gonna have to pay similar. But I don't know who's on the undercard of that fight because I probably won't pay for that because that's going to be UK time. So that means I'm gonna have to wake up at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning and stay awake till 7. Showbiz said Bud's resume won't hold up in history. Fight Boots. What does Boots do to his resume then? Certified clown. Yeah, he's a clown. Like, I mean, we can all understand potentially Boots' resume is going to be much better than it is now. Potentially. But that doesn't guarantee anything. Crawford beats him, and then Boots goes on to fucking, get knocked out by somebody at 154 and then become, a Jermaine Taylor, right? A guy that was an undisputed champion who fucking has been marginalized and never mentioned in boxing conversations, right? Even though at one point the guy looked like he was a potential superstar in the middleweight division, right? Like Boots, anything can happen. And then, how does that win look on Bud Crawford's resume? Kind of the same as, what's his face? Who was the guy that, the Welsh fighter? What the fuck's his name? Oh my God. Welsh fighter, undefeated fighter, fought an American, fucking big muscular guy from the US Olympic team. And people, Joe Calzaghe. Calzaghe fought that guy. And after that, the guy became irrelevant. And now when you look about that win on Joe Calzaghe's resume, nobody goes, whoa, well, he beat this guy to win a title and fucking this guy was going to be fucking the next superstar. No. They go, yeah, this guy got beat by Calzaghe and exposed and never went on to do too much in the sport. Right? The problem with showbiz is he's the opposite of knockout boxing and fan-in boxing and ego. I guess ego tries to walk the fence. But you got like fanboy channels that dick ride and fanboy certain fighters, like the LDBC with Devin Haney, fanboy channel. And then you got ego, who's a fanboy channel, but he tries to fucking talk about lots of different topics to pull in a larger market, right? Then you just have a fucking racist hater in Dante. And then you have channels like Showbiz, who doesn't want to offend anyone, wants to walk the fence to get everyone to come on his channel. But you might as well be more like Ness in that situation. Because Ness is similar, but far less of a fucking. Nobody takes you serious. Nobody can even believe what you say. Whether you agree with Ness or not, you know at least that's what Ness's opinion. Sometimes you agree with it. Most of the time you don't agree with it. Oh, fucking the Billam Smith Brandon Glanton fight. Oh, yeah. I want to watch that fight. Yard versus Arthur. I think Yard's going to knock him out easier the second time around. Liam with the McKenna. It's not a bad fight. I don't know what time I'd wake up to watch that, but fucking Billam Smith versus Glanton. I want to see that. Showbiz blows smoke up your ass. I remember Joe landed 1,000 punches in the Lacey fight that night. Yes, Lacey, there you go. Who's the bigger clown, Showbiz or Punch Drunk? I have to say Punch Drunk because he's such a fucking dick rider, right? The fucking bullshit with Andrade. Come on, man. Now the shit with Tio. Like, you fucking tie yourself to fighters, dick ride fighters, but at least fucking knockout boxing picked like Spence and fucking Tank. You're picking fucking Andrade and fucking Tio. And fucking the LDBC fucking picking Wilder and fucking Haney. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, if you're going to dick ride fighters, I think fucking at least knockout boxing and Fannin, you go that direction better. Spence and Tank better than fucking the alternatives for sure. For sure. I remember how hard he tried to sell Mario Barros when he fought Tank. Ness is not a likable personality. He's not. He comes across as a smug asshole for sure. Punch Drunk for sure, always on Andrade and Tio. Well, and the worst thing about Ness is initially when he first started his channel, he wouldn't even talk about boxing unless it was on American TV. It was like, you're a boxing fucking channel. Like, you should at least address big fights that are happening on TV you can't watch. You at least address them. Fine, you might not be fucking all over it and gung-ho about it because you can't watch it, but dummy. Punch Drunk faked a catastrophic car accident. I remember people said that. I don't know if it's true or not, but anybody that would go to that extent, what does it tell you about the person? Right? There's a lot of dudes on YouTube, man, that got channels and are fucking just degenerates. Fucking degenerates. I mean, look at that ex-cop fucking on the LDBC. Fucking degenerate. Fucking BFTB. Fucking degenerate. Knockout couldn't wait to say, I told you so about Shakur's incident with Turkey, to criticize Turkey. He was coming in his pants, giving me crow. Oh, yeah, of course he would. Knockout fucking, he been shitting on Turkey Al-Sheikh fucking from day one. From day one, I told him, your channel's good, but the problem is you're too much of a PBC fanboy and you fucking dick ride fucking Errol Spence way too much. And all you do is use fucking Bud Crawford and be super fucking critical of Bud Crawford. Like, you're a boxing channel. How can you be so fucking biased? Right? And that's what he's doing now. And literally fucking, he supports a channel that did 5 fight cards last year. 5. And 2 were fucking Canelo Alvarez, which means you really did 3. 3 PBC cards, 2 Canelo cards. And it was like, but you're going to be critical of other people. And now acting like Top Rank and PBC joined together is going to make tons of great fights. What fucking great fighters did the PBC have? You got Benavidez, Tank Davis. Outside of that, a bunch of mediocre fighters that fucking couldn't fucking sell out a backyard barbecue. Right? Like, you killed your fucking platform because you wouldn't work with anyone. And now you're planning on working with anyone because you killed your fucking platform. But yeah, let's criticize Turkey because heaven forbid we fucking, capitalize on the opportunity to make some money and make some fights. I like Clarissa Shields as a fighter, but I just question her resume a bit. It's good, but a lot of other chicks fought world champions. Yeah, Clarissa Shields' resume is all vacant fucking titles. And unfortunately for her, she's in weight divisions where there's no real opponents, right? Just fucking cans. So how good is your resume? How good is your career when you're fighting literally fucking nobodies? And the one good woman you could fight, the girl from the UK, you don't want to go to the UK because you're fucking entitled. But meanwhile, you want her to come to America, but yet nobody could make money in America. Like, no one watches her fights in America. Come on. Even the PBC didn't want to fucking promote her on pay-per-view. The only problem with Ness, he doesn't really talk about lower weight classes like Taraji, Ioka, etc. Exactly. Because he can't watch those fights in America. Does he talk about fucking Bam? What I love is people that fucking call him Bam Bam. It's like, his name's fucking not Bam Bam. He's not a fucking cartoon character from the Flintstones. He's fucking a fighter, American. If you love American boxing, you should love Bam Rodriguez, right? And you should talk about him on your channel. But, it is what it is. Ladies, gentlemen, I'm going to call it a day. It's pulling into 10:30 here. So thanks for jumping in, everyone. I appreciate it. And I will see you later this week. Obviously, it's Monday my time. Tomorrow, college basketball. Who's your pick? Houston or Florida? I'm disappointed Duke isn't in the final, but, it is what it is. Showbiz is short. Gave Carissa more praise for becoming 2-time undisputed than he did for Bud. Like, the journey was the same. Clown. Well, he puts fucking Carissa on the pound for pound list with men, even though she couldn't beat any fucking men. Fucking delusional. When she went to heavyweight, there was only 10 professional women boxers at heavyweight. And the woman she first fought to win a title had single-digit fights, had never beat anyone with a fucking winning record. Like, literally, you're fighting bums. Bums. Like, people were critical of lower weight fights because they don't have deep fucking pools. But they're not deep pools. Envelop women's boxing, right? Like, it ain't even fucking close. Drunk Irishman, he says Houston, Florida game, man. It's a tough matchup. We were debating it at school today because we did a pool, and South African girl, always in the top 2. She's tied in number 1 with this Canadian guy, both with 91 points. I got 84. I'm out. I never fucking win. But literally, he wants Florida to win because then he will win with 97 points, beating her. Otherwise, if Florida loses, it's going to be a draw, 91-91. Cooper's gone fishing, and Newey's tickets aren't selling in the U.S., according to Dante's Boxing Nation. Life is great. Well, if you're a racist, I guess so. But Cooper Flagg's is going to be the number 1 draft pick and the most talked about player going into the NBA. And Newey is fucking pound for pound one of the best fighters in boxing. Literally just keeping you company. So cool. Look at the fucking face. Hi. How are you? Are you okay? She's just saying, when are we going to bed? When are we going to bed, man? Let's get out of here. Okay. Thanks, everyone. I will see you next time. Peace out. Later.